We are officially live. Y'all know the routine. Whether it's catching it right now, catching it after it's uploaded. Make sure you hit the like button. I see what are we talking about here? Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I got so distracted by something, but no, we about to get into it. Y'all know how we do it every Saturday show. We definitely bring it with the topics and the controversial stuff. We gonna get right into it. So strap on in. Let's get ready to go. I'm trying to find my intro. I'm all messed up. Y'all know that the build it while you fly it thing is so apropos to me because I can't never have nothing ready to go. But we about to be talking about some. Are they are they learning or are they faking? We about to be getting deep into that. So strap on in. Let's get ready to go. Let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
What's up? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Saturday show. We getting it in, making it happen. Shout out to everybody in the building. Appreciate each and every one of you that make it in bright and early. Shout out to TD Hutch in the building. Says waiting on this great discussion. Hit that damn like button. Do you know that I was just thinking when in the intro when Xavier say wake your black ass up, it hit a little different when I'm going on at noon. I gotta get another intro eventually. But shout out to TD Hutch in the building. Says on point as always. Can't wait to see what you brought. Absolutely. Shout out to Anton Chigra. Shout out to you. I don't know what you're talking about there. What is that? Paladins? You in another language? Shout out to you, PCU. Definitely glad you're in the building. Everon McKay says peace. Bernard, the revival of true red pill form. Wow, thank you. I still don't know what the hell he talking about. And shout out to William Graves, why women chooses life or to find a way. Okay, y'all, I don't know what y'all talking about this morning, but either way it go. Reintroducing Hood Servative and back in the building on a Saturday. What's up? What's going on?
Nothing much, man. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon.
No doubt.
Sometimes we talk about like coming up with content. We was just having a little content panic in the background a little while ago, trying to figure out what to talk about today. And it's weird whenever it's like a slow news week, whenever social events, or we kind of beat certain dead horses, like we beat these ideas into the ground already.
this wasn't a slow week. This was a. I just
No,
want to leave this one up. That's why it was.
right,
We
right. That's what I
still.
mean. Like we kind of beat the dead horse. Like we killed it. We totally pulverized the horse. It's done. And so you want to talk about something else. And it occurred to me after we spoke. Like you know what? When it fails, like when you run out of things to talk about, you can always talk about black women.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it just works that way. So thank God for black women. Yes, I said it. Thank God for black women. You heard it here first.
Yeah, right on, right on. We gonna keep drinking at that well. Whenever somebody, because every now and then I get one to come in here and say, "Oh yeah, I just talking about black women again," and like, no, yeah, like yeah, my channel was built on talking about women. That ain't going nowhere.
Right.
Only thing that will change is the angle in which we do it. Sometimes it'll be we'll talk about it from a political angle, a social angle, a parenting angle, and women and the children, or what the men that black men become because of how they were raised with the single mother. We may go that angle, or we may go to full dating, mating relationship angle. Either way it go, it was talking about women from a certain angle, and everybody in this space do it. And if you're
Look,
in
look,
this
look.
space, and if you're in this space and you subscribe to all the content creators wrapped in this algorithm, that's the shit y'all like to listen to anyway. So y'all be fronting. I do a show that ain't got nothing to do with women. The views be less. I already know the so now I don't even go for the yeah.
Hey,
We
bro, look,
on
look.
that.
I'm not even that sophisticated. I don't really always break it down into like different categories. Like I have one major category is politics. Like that, I'll
Yeah.
own that. But broadly speaking, sometimes I just like laughing at chicks, bro. They're funny. Like
Mm,
girls are funny, and sometimes you just want to laugh. And I don't feel the need to make all these intellectual justifications for laughing at chicks, bro.
yeah. Yeah. And Jockey's Retro said nobody's really making noise about ARC. I was told by Edward Anderson that the family said that they wanted less, wall to wall coverage on it, from content creators. So I was planning on making like a pre-record, sort of like what I did with Kevin Samuels. I still may figure out a way to slip that in. I mean, I'll try to confirm that that's what the family is saying. But I went live yesterday, not even knowing for sure if it was true. So I, kind of, tiptoed around talking about it. But mid-show, once I found out, did a little slight tribute. But no. Rest in peace to ARC. Very, very sad news. Very sad news. I probably will end up not putting it. I'm not going to do a whole live show on it. I'm not. I'm not going to do a whole live show. I don't even think I did that directly when it came to Kevin Samuels. But I may figure out a way to do just a very short, brief pre-record tribute, pending whether or not it's actually true that the family don't want to see that all over the place. But either way. But yeah, RIP to ARC. I don't think it's a lack of people giving him his due and his respect. I mean, hell, I think O'Shea already dropped like 3 videos on it. But O'Shea don't give a shit. O'Shea gonna do some content. If it's out there, O'Shea covering it. but no, rest in peace to ARC, and feel really bad. 2-year old, new wife, married 3 or 4 years, 2-year-old son. Yeah, that's bad as it gets. As bad as it gets right there. But but yeah, getting back into the topic. Where was we at? He threw me off.
Chicks are funny, bro. Women are funny, man. You made me all depressed and shit, man. That's why we have to sometimes just laugh at chicks because life is hard. Life is sad, and I need
Yeah.
like funny girls to laugh at sometimes.
Right. Let's before we get into the first video
Well, the
brought.
video I emailed you,
Yeah.
let's hold that off for a second. And
Oh,
the
okay.
one I just put in the back chat, because I think it works better if you lay it out in a certain order. And I think the way I had it set up in my mind is like this. Have you noticed there's it's not like a giant phenomena, but every couple of weeks there's a new TikTok video that goes viral with some girl like crying in her cornflakes about how, the men were right. I wasted my life. Now I'm old and alone. Kevin Samuels just wasn't that bad. Like, have you noticed that there's like this growing phenomena of women of a certain age though, women of a certain age, kind of like co-signing all the red pill stuff, like not like content creator wise, just having like that reality check moment. There's a lot
Hmm.
of videos of women having that life reality check.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. And here's the deal with that. While I'm sitting here fumbling trying to get everything locked and loaded into the file. Okay, no, I'm botching that. But no, I have noticed that. I have noticed that, and that's one thing. That's one thing that Kevin Samuels did. He put a spotlight on something that people don't put a spotlight on, and a lot of people want to dismiss it. A lot of people want to dismiss it and say, it don't matter." But nah, chicks, they okay. It's two ways. Okay, I know of a chick in her early 40s who's still out there living her life. She's still chasing dope boys and drug dealers and got, decent dudes, just putting them on hold, just waiting them out another. She probably gonna cash in on Mr. Nice Guy when she turned 50, But some of them be getting to that point where, yeah, they get to that point at 40 and all of that. Yeah, it start kicking in. Like I've talked to some on that, doing this show. Well, I ain't about to get into that, but I've I've had communications with some that's they legit be going through. They legit be going through, and it's like that those Kevin Samuels words ring in their ear more than that 40 is the new 30, living my best life bullshit. It's like Kevin Samuels words do be ringing in their ear, and it is a noticeable change out there. It is a noticeable change out there, and so it has manifested itself in more crying in the car videos. The ones that the way that it has manifested itself in more content creator chicks talking about it or saying this or saying that or echoing the sentiments of men trying to make it seem like, oh yeah, I see the light and blah blah blah, and they call this, they arguing and refuting the arguments and stuff that women basically doing a lot of the same stuff that we're doing. I look at that as a content creator, whether or not she's legit or not. I don't care. She's just a woman doing content. But those
Right.
candid videos where they're unless these are some Academy Award winning actresses, which many of them can be. Some women can cry on demand, but some of those videos be legitimate where they just started talking and they just wanted to speak their mind, and then they started and then them tears be winding up when women start crying and talking at the same time, and I hate that shit. And I stopped the video and quit watching as soon as they get to the point. And I don't know. And as soon as that shit happened, I'm done. I cut the shit off. But more of those videos are popping up. More of those videos are
Now,
popping up. Those crying snot bubble in the car videos.
right.
Yeah, those shits are just popping up all over the place.
Now, here's the question that I kind of have rolling in my mind, and I'm gonna quote a rap song, as much as I hate to do that, but it does fit. I
I
remember
do it
years
too.
ago, years ago, Jay-Z, he had this one song. I think it was on the song "Cry," and he says,
Mm.
"You can't turn a bad girl good, but once a good girl's gone bad, she's gone forever." And I'm just now thinking about this whole like snot bubble in the car video phenomena, and I'm like, even with the snot bubbles, right? Even crying in the car, allegedly having a like come to Jesus moment, she's still gone forever. I think that's kind of like the problem, right? And I'm wondering, maybe I'm wrong. I'm asking a question actually, like, is she gone forever? And I think that might be the truth. I think that's kind of low key the truth, even at that moment. And maybe that's what that video confessional thing is about, like acknowledging that she's gone forever. It's like when the woman acknowledges that the wall has actually boxed her in, like the wall has become a box now.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I never took the time to look at it or think about it from the perspective of, what they're going to me. I mean, I'm not. So I
Well,
never
not
even.
let's not
No, I never.
personalize it, but you know.
I know. I get that, but I'm just saying I never thought about it like, is this chick really gone forever? Like I always looked at it like this. I always looked at it like this. They could make a comeback when they readjust their expectations. Put it like that. They could find somewhere to land. It may not be the nice, cozy place they wanted to land, but they could land. They could find somewhere. A woman can always find somewhere to land. You know, if rock bottom is falling flat on the pavement, they can find a pillow or something. The damn grass to just to land, pow, smack dab on in the grass versus the concrete. Like they can find somewhere. It's somebody who will help them. It's somebody who will be there. I mean, it's always a cape. So that's why I always say, you know, the whole concept of too big to fail. You know, when Kevin Samuels was saying winter is coming, yeah, that was a fun concept. I played with it a little bit, but I said it back then. It's not going to truly come. It'll be a little breeze, a little blizzard, a little hail, a little snow, but it ain't going to be no full shutdown because, you know, by hook or crook, the government or in some way somehow they're not going to fail too bad. Something's going to kick in to help them, either individual simps or the government, one or the other.
You know,
so I'm like,
they'll
never fail.
That is like a reality shifting acknowledgement in a certain kind of way. If you're one of the guys who kind of sees the problem of women as far as like modern society goes, and you know the government's always going to step in to bail them out, that kind of should lean you to be towards being way more anti-government than you've ever been before, right? Like you should be like, I can't wait till this shit falls, like because what else is going to solve the problem for you? Because you are literally at odds with your own system of government. Once you acknowledge that reality.
Yeah, no, I agree. But let's go ahead and dig on into it. Let's get the first clip. Let's roll the not so beautiful bean footage that I believe I have it ready to. Actually, no, it's not ready to go, but now it's about to be. It's uploading into the
with the media and what's going on. I feel like
all right.
All
right. Here we go. Wait, hold on. I don't want it to look like that. I guess it's got to look like that. Okay. All right, cool. We'll go with that. All right, let's go. Anything else to set this up, or we just rolling?
No, this is just sort of like the A side of the tape right here. The women who claim to be like enlightened and understand, and generally speaking, I'm going to take them at face value, right? I don't know what your heart is. Maybe you get it, but there's like 1% of women claiming to understand, and then there's all the rest of them. And so we're going to start out with the 1%.
All right. And real quick, I don't know. I don't think it's her, and I don't even want to say what it is until I hear what you got to say because I don't want to cloud. But it's a video of her that said something real ridiculous that we may cover someday if I find the clip. But anyway, let's go.
right now with the media and what's going on, I feel like my spirit is telling me that Black men are intentionally being undermined, undervalued, and left out. The men are more interested in empowering the women than their own brothers. So the first thing I want you to do is men need community.
Hold on, real quick. I'm gonna back it up. But I always point that out. I've been pointing that out for like 2 years now. I've been, you know, every year when Drew Holiday, when him and his white wife.
Why she gotta be white though?
Ask him why she gotta be white. Don't ask me. She's white. I mean, it's descriptive. It's not a pejorative. I mean, but well, you know why I brought up her race. They give out.
I know, I'm fucking with you.
They give out $5 million at least each year. I think you got like a $24 million salary or something like that. They give out upwards of $5 million each year to Black organizations, businesses, startups, or whatever, either Black organizations, foundations, or Black businesses. Because I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, yeah, you know, you married to a white woman, but giving back to the Black community, yeah, you know, that's good. I'm with it. I'm absolutely with it. However, I've done content on this multiple times. I'll probably bring it because it's at the end of the year, so it's about time for them to give out they next little giveaway or whatever. What they do is they invest in those black businesses, foundations, organizations, or whatever, and they've showed a list of everybody who they invest in. 80% of them be female businesses, organizations, or foundations. Black female businesses, organizations, or foundations. So even the black men who are philanthropic or believe in investing in the black community and this or that or blah, 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 what she said is absolutely right. They care far more about investing in black women than what they do investing in other black men. And even if I put my pro blackity black dashiki on and say that, you know, this ain't dashiki Bernard right now. This is just something that I think this is pretty straightforward. You invest in men. If you're in the business of investing in the community, you invest in the men. The men do better. They will take care of the woman and the child, you know, provided that woman is with him. And that was going to be the other topic. We still have to circle back to that rather than not men only love their kids if they still with the woman. It's
juicy. Nah, that was a good discussion I had up there, and then I had a panelist on the show with me when I talked about that. And shout out to Dirty Folks. We had a really great in-depth discussion about just dynamics of men and women.
Yeah, I saw some of that, but either way, you help out the men, you empower the men, you know, economically. They'll take care of the woman and the child, you know. If you empower the women, you're going to empower them to be strong, independent, and not need no man and be over there by themselves with the child. So even the black men who are in position to make a difference, they're still going to operate and do things in a way that's overall counterproductive for the empowerment of the black community that they claim they want to see. But so just throwing that out there. Go ahead.
Again, back to the rappers. Biggie Smalls, right? What song was that? I think I was on that in one of his first hit, Juicy, and he was saying to get my daughter this college plan so she don't need no man.
Yeah.
And I never really thought about it at the time because I'm like, I don't know what, 12, 13, 14, whatever age I was stupidly little to really conceive of how wrong that thinking is as a man, as a father even, right? So sky's the limit. Thank you, Iman. Sky's the limit. So I'm looking at this now, years later, as a father, and I'm thinking about what you just said and what the lady on the screen just pointed out, right? And now, as a father with a son and two daughters, even I have a son in the middle, right? Oldest is a girl, son in the middle, youngest is a girl. And I'm thinking about the reality of that. And I look at Chinese culture. Chinese culture is kind of known for this. They promote the boys intensely and purposely will not promote the girls in the same way. And the thinking behind that is, as a family, like leaving aside the whole one child policy thing too, which is part of it. But as a family, investing in your son is just more likely to pay off as you get older as parents, right? And so there's just a very, very basic, brutal practicality to that. And I don't know that black men in particular are willing to embrace that kind of sheer triage logic where, all right, if I had to choose, where should I put the majority of my effort? Do you promote your boys or your daughters? And men generally in this country, in this Western culture, we have been kind of browbeaten into thinking that you're wrong if you naturally assume the male should just be groomed for leadership or some kind of active role, whereas we are more inclined to, like she was saying, we are just generally more inclined to help out girls over boys. And we tend to look at the boys coming up like, oh, tough it out, little nigga, you'll make it. And what that does over time is create a class of women who've been, propped up and catered to and propelled forward, and men who are just left flailing. And I think you do have to, on a black community level, you do have to ask the question, are we even getting anywhere by just promoting the women? Maybe we actually should promote the men explicitly.
Yeah. And that's why I said, because when we go down that rabbit hole, it turns into a community conversation,
hmm
Shout out to Hobie Allen, a save your community black man conversation, but I think in a more practical, less contrived way. But I mean, but either way it go, yeah, that's what it turns into. That's why I said I kind of got to put my dashiki on for this conversation. But yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you 100% on that. With you 100% on that one.
let me throw this out there really quickly.
Go ahead.
Look at the Obi Allen crowd, right? That is exactly the crowd that is going to be most energetic, at least conversationally. They're going to be most energetic about saving the community, right? But when it comes to these critical decisions that you have to make to save your damn community, they're going to let the women drown out that conversation because feelings and vagina, and you got a daughter too. And but it doesn't matter if you have a daughter or not. What actually matters is what is more effective. And I think that's just it's a cold-blooded calculation that we are afraid to have because vagina.
Yeah. And on another note, it's funny, all the good topics are coming up in mid conversation, but Dr. Tiasan Johnson just covered something. They doing like a Wakanda Forever scholarship or so. I don't know what the hell it is, but I think they only giving it to women, the girls, or something like that. They're giving out Wakanda. They're giving out scholarships. They're giving out scholarships to the University of Wakanda. It exists somewhere, but either way it goes,
It should be
black
only
are
women.
It said it should be.
Yeah, listen, lean into it, gentlemen. Lean into it. Let the women have Wakanda. Let them have Wakanda and nothing else. So, give them nothing else. All you're gonna have is Wakanda. Hey, that's it. That's what you get. That is your consolation prize. You want reparations? Wakanda.
I just got a fucked up thought. Because I watched Wakanda Forever, and there was a lack of black men in there to the point, like even the extras in the background, it was probably like 75% black women. Like, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, I just had the thought, did the black men of Wakanda, did them niggas go SYSB? did they just leave
early?
Did them niggas get their passport and come over to the U.S.? They got the hell up out of there. They was like, listen, these bald-headed, spear-chucking bitches, I do not want to be around this shit.
The ancestors told them to flee. That's what you do when the ancestors tell you what the ancestors said you got to move, so they moved. That's why I said, let the women have Wakanda, bro. The spirits have spoken.
They said I'll leave this damn black utopian ethno state paradise and go struggle out here in the real world to get away from these bitches.
Well, it's weird you frame it like that because it's those are like the jokes I'd be making. It's like I'd rather have I'd rather struggle out there amongst the white people than be here in this fake love with you. Like that's kind of the dynamic though. And that's exactly what we're talking about now with Wakanda. It's like, you know what? I think the men, they rather chose the white world than to have to deal with these bald-headed bitches every day.
You said SYSW. Save yourself, Wakandan man. Oh shit, that's a hell of a concept. Maybe they saved themselves. We sitting there complaining. them niggas like, nah, we good. We had to get up out of there. But all right. Shout out to Osama Abdul, says the dynamic duo BR and Hood Conservative back at it again. Absolutely. Oh shit, I gotta turn this damn heat down. I didn't got hot in here. But all right, I'm gonna play it from the beginning, and so we can get full context while I get up and turn this heat down. But all right, let's roll it.
Right now, with the media and what's going on, I feel like my spirit is telling me that black men are intentionally being undermined, undervalued, and left out. The men are more interested in empowering the women than their own brothers. So the first thing I want you to do is men need community. Men need a safe space. Men need a place where they can share their struggles and not be looked at as weak, right? Men need community. Men need a hub. Start with the man, because there are so many men who needed men who didn't have men. They didn't have fathers. They didn't.
All right, that's the end of the clip. What do you think about the angle she went on that? Talking about, I mean, it started off good, but I think it got a little soft. Talking about them niggas just need a hug. Like,
Well, I don't care for the safe space language. I
yeah,
largely agree with the sentiment. I would frame it all differently, and she's a woman speaking as a woman would speak, so I don't fault her for that. But
okay,
obviously, like, yeah, the language of it is wrong, but I think the sentiment is right. And that's that's just the danger of female leadership, suppose, right? You'll have the
ooh,
right sentiment, but you'll implement it in a way that turns all the men into eunuchs. Like, it's a dangerous concept.
mm-hmm,
But I think
yeah,
her overall assessment is correct, and I didn't include her in this to, like, use her as some kind of bad example. I just pointed out, like, there are some women out there who claim to be, they seem to get it, right. They seem to understand some things, which is nice. It's just nice, and I don't want to chase those women away.
right,
Then if you got the clip that I emailed you, right, there's the reality of just what's going on here. and
mm-hmm.
and the reality is so deep, it almost does make me question the few women who seem to get it. Like, are y'all faking too? Like, there's so many women that are just ratchet. I be looking at the good ones like, man, you probably full of shit. You're just waiting for your opportunity to be ratchet. You a ratchet with a plan. That's all. Like, I be legit questioning that.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's easy to do that. It's easy to do that, and it's it's kind of unfortunate for them. It's kind of unfortunate for them that the ones that's decent, they're met with so much skepticism. I get their problem or their issue. There are legitimate people who have met who have met the decent person, and they sitting there, waiting for the switch up. So yeah, that's a legitimate thing. But like I said in the beginning, there's a content aspect to it. So whenever I see somebody on a production set in the, lights, camera, action, or a woman who put effort into her presentation and her channel and this or that, and look, and I rock with some of them. I'm cool with some of them. I've collaborated with some of them, but I understand. I completely understand how you know this person is doing content. That's why we go back to the crying in the car snot bubble coming out the nose videos, where a woman is having a raw, genuine moment and realizing what's happened. It's a difference between her and the advocate who's making a conscious decision to do this type of content. Because I do look at them like this chick that we just had up. Yeah, this where are we at? Yeah, this chick here. I don't know nothing about her. But it's a lot of them who I embraced them. Want to make that very clear. If they ultimately advocating for black men, I'm not trying to poke and prod their personal life. They probably got a nigga on child support, not letting them see his kids, but coming online advocating for
Talk about
advocating for
black
black.
men are being undermined. Like, this is the thing, though. It could totally be that, and I'm torn because it's like you said. I don't really hold a grudge against the women who want to do content, but, like, bro, you could easily have 3 babies in the house, and none of their baby daddies ever be coming around because you mean to all of them, and you up here online talking this fly shit. Like, that could totally be it. But like you said, I don't. The content thing is one thing. I'll accept the propaganda value of it all because that's how I
Yeah.
look at it. I look at it as allies in a propaganda war.
Yep.
But the reality of women is, like, you should always be suspicious, bro. Always be looking for that baby daddy relationship. See what she did wrong, because that's gonna be you in the future.
Yeah, that was a key word to go a way. The way that you framed that, it goes over everybody's head. You view them as an ally in the propaganda war. That most people don't think big enough, are too short-sighted to understand the value of that. That's why I'm like, take your foot off the try to take your foot off the chicks of the necks who are online advocating for men. Just let them do what they do. Leave them be. Let them do what they do. I don't know what they're doing in their personal life, and I don't know them personally, but it's ally in the propaganda war. There it is. I'm with that. I will be still in that one. Ally in the propaganda war. But anyway, let's where was we where was we at here? I think we was about to roll to to y'all ain't shit. Y'all ain't shit.
Hey, I say no names, right? You guys are allowed to make all the implications you want to make, man. I say no names.
Jaquan, you got to speak in full sentences. You just came in here, just say blue pill and just hit enter. Speak in full sentences, nigga. But all right. So let's let's move it along. You got me thrown off. Yeah, I don't even do no damn. Mike and Vince Perkins in the building. Shout out to Mike and Vince Perkins. Appreciate you coming on there. He says Hood has been on a bit of a roll. Salute. Absolutely. I've been noticing you've been doing numbers over there. I've been noticing, man. I'm happy for you.
Thank you. You know, it's weird. It's weird when you get successful. It's like, oh my God, they like me. They really like me.
Yeah, no doubt. But shout out to Mike and Vince Perkins. I gotta hit you up, Mike. I gotta talk to you. But all right. Where was we at? So let's go ahead and get into this one. This isn't a snot bubble in the car video, but it's a lot of those. But this chick was sort of speaking to something, and I guess it sort of relates or indirectly relates to what we're talking about. I'll let you give a little backstory, set it up or whatever before we roll it.
Well, there isn't all that much backstory. She's telling her girlfriend's story. So basically, her girlfriend came to her and was like, "Oh, this dude I'm dating," and she's going to lay out what happened.
Mhm.
But it just sort of highlights the realities of the thing. And so that's why I'm kind of like, it's. I guess what I'm kind of trying to express with this whole stream is that there is this like push pull sort of effect going on where I'm like, on the one hand, you have the content creators who, like you said, it's their job, it's their role to put out like a polished product.
Mhm.
And I respect that. Like you said, the propaganda value, it's immense propaganda value in that, right? But as much as I want that for the propaganda war, because, you know, this is going to be a long slog kind of a fight, it's not going to be over in the morning. As much as I want that for the propaganda war, you have to not let yourself get distracted by the realities of things. And like this whole show, I guess, is going to be, you know, discussing the duality of women, because no matter how much they say the black man, you know, no matter how many times you find that one-off example of a chick who can speak openly about the black man being undermined and then undervalued and all that, and she may legit, you know, mean it. She may be sincere. I don't know. You'll always get like 30,000 examples of this on the other end. And
All
I
right,
think this is way more like revealing than just the few chicks who actually do care, maybe.
All right, let me address this real quick. Okay. Blaze Skywalker says, Bernard, I see you losing weight, big dog. Keep doing your thing. I'm gonna need y'all to stop announcing that y'all can see that I'm losing weight, because whenever y'all start doing that, I gain the shit back. All right. Yeah, I'm down like 10 pounds. All right. I lost 10 pounds. I'm doing good. I'm on my keto diet. As soon as y'all start complimenting me, I get fat again. So just shut the fuck up. just let me get there. Let me get there before y'all start blowing my head up. But I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the super chat. Appreciate you noticing the work. I appreciate it. But damn, as soon as y'all start noticing I lost weight, I gain the shit back. But all right, let's get back into it. Let's get back into it. Shout out to Mike. Shout out to, I think I'm missing somebody else's super chat. The Clue channel says Mad Horseman X found it SY. Oh shit! That if you weren't watching in the earlier in the show, we said it was no black men in Wakanda because they went SYSBM. They left. They got up out of there. They got their passports and flew to America to get away from the bald-headed spear chucking bitches. All right. And then somebody posted SYSWM, Save Yourself Wakanda Man, and and then now he's saying Mad Horseman instead of Mad Bus Driver. Mad Horseman X found it SYSWM. Give you a slow clap for that one. I like creative humor. That was good. You killed it. Yeah, that was funny as hell. But all right, let's go ahead and get into this video. Where we at? Oh wait, no, I gotta do it right here. All right.
You know what? I see why the fellas is mad at us. We used to do better. So I was talking to one of my homegirls not too long ago, and she tells me she's met the perfect guy, right? She's like, he's great, he's handsome, great job, all of that, right? Oh, nobody's perfect, of course, but standard wise, preference wise, he met everything. So then later on, she tells me, and she's like, oh, I dubbed him. He's just not right for me. And I'm like, well, what happened? Like, everything was good. Like, you were saying, like, this could have been future hubby. Like, like you was damn near on the right track for everything. Like, he was just matching up. You know what this woman tells me? She says, his car is old. And I say, okay, what does that mean? That What does that mean? She's like, well, he's been in his career for 10 plus years. He should have a brand new car. He should have something from this year. Like, why don't you have a more expensive car? Sis, sounds like he doesn't have a car payment. Sounds like he doesn't have um an extra $700-800 that he has to spend a month, or how much ever a car payment is. It sounds like he's saving up money. What's the problem? Does it work? Does it have an auxiliary cord? Does it have heat and air conditioning? That's all I really care about. Do the windows go up and down? Has it passed the inspection? That's really all that counts. But you're worried about it being an old car? Really? You're going to pass him up because his car is old? Just little shit like that explains why.
All right. There it is.
Now,
There it is. Go ahead.
I think right off the bat, I think Iman Perry in the chat, he had it right, and it's a very base, crass kind of observation, but I think it's true. He wasn't piping it right. Like I think, and
Uh-oh.
especially when it comes to black women, especially in piping it right is kind of pejorative. I think it goes like this. The better way to describe this phenomena is like this, right? The car wouldn't matter at all if you were like hitting it like you just got out of jail every time. Which is kind of low key and acknowledge that's all they really looking for is like a really hard orgasm. It's like if you can do that, none of that 6 foot six, all that stuff was to get you in the door. But once you're
Yeah.
in the door, all that matters is if you can't hit it right. Like in the woman's mind, that's kind of what I think has happened there on a certain level. I think that's a certain reality to that.
I think that concept, and I don't mean to veer off, but I think that concept of hitting it like you just got out of jail, I don't know if this is validity in that concept. Okay, a dude who just got out of jail, I bet he could tear the pussy up for about 20 seconds. I think that's
You're probably right, considering the reality, but you get what I'm trying to say, though.
I understand. I understand. I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm just thinking somebody 5 years, 5 years just get their first piece. I know. Yeah, I know they. Yeah, I've heard a woman told me a story of guys who I ain't about to get into that. No, but, okay, I'll go to say a dude who he busted nut before he even put it in. She said that actually happened. But anyway, so
I can see that.
I can't, but that's how I envision dudes who just got out.
Yeah, jail is another universe, bro. It's like getting back into a whole. It's like coming back from Mars when you get out of jail, I guess, bro. So
Yeah, but anyway, hold on. Cole still in the building saying, in my opinion, isn't about piping it right. It's about being dominant.
that's dominance in the girl brain.
Those two can go hand in hand. So I know I get where Cole Steele is coming from. It's a weird thing going on with women nowadays, to where a lot of them, they view that dominance. They want that. It's like they want that dominance in the bedroom, and then in some ways, in some facets, they don't want it. they don't want it universally across the board. Like I said, some women be submissive in the bedroom, and then once they wipe themselves off, and then it's like, no, you ain't gonna be telling me what to do. It is like that. And then it's with some of them, yeah, they do want you to be telling them what to do, and in the whole works, in and out the bedroom. So it's something to what Cold Steel is saying. It is something to what Cold Steel is saying.
I think there is, but the modern dynamics kind of get in the way of that.
Mm-hmm.
On like a practical level, and then on like a social level, as far as like the media messages and kind of the ideas that we throw around casually. I think
Mm-hmm.
the modern world gets in the way of that basic dynamic where, like, as a man, women would generally expect you to be a dominant, overbearing even kind of figure, right? But the
Mm-hmm.
reality of the modern woman is, if she has the majority of what she needs on a practical physical comfort level, then your need to actually be controlling diminishes in her mind, because she's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, I mean, you're being in charge doesn't actually get me anything more than I already have. Like, it's a very modern problem.
Yeah, it's
So
like you're doing it and being in charge and control and telling her what to do. It's really just your little way of mind fucking her to and it's really foreplay. It's not a practical thing that you being an in charge and control man is in a practical way changing the value of her life. It's just a foreplay. Ooh, he don't be telling me what to do, but ooh, he tells me what to do. Ooh, it's
right.
like that. That's what it is.
Right, but look how false that is. That is actually a false dynamic. It's like a trap, really, because
Mm-hmm.
you're falling for the illusion of power when all you're getting is a nut and maybe some Jordans or something like that. But you're falling for the illusion of power.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Jay Speed says, Bernard, how the hell are you? I'm okay. And I just thought about it. He as pro black as Jay Speed is, when he talk, he actually sound like Uncle Ruckus. I just realized that.
It's a funny coincidence. That's all. It's just a coincidence, no relation. That's that Southern
um,
nigga shit.
yeah. How the hell you pro black but sound like the most cooningest character on earth? That is funny. That
That's that
is legit.
older black men from the South all kind of sound like they ready to curse a little nigga out. That's just how it is.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. It looked like you sent me something with Jess Hilarious in it. I don't know.
Yeah, she's not funny, but this is funny. It's a weird thing about her. I swear, that's the weird thing about these comedy chicks. Like, they're not funny, but stuff is funny about them anyway.
Yeah, yeah. I get why people think she's funny, and yeah, I guess if you put out enough content, you have your moments.
Right.
You have your moments. I give her that. But when you put hilarious in your name, it's like that's that. I think that's what probably kills it for. If she just would have been just Jess, hey, that would have been a funny gimmick right there. She should have called herself Jess Unhilarious, and then
Right.
anytime that she make you laugh, it's like, yo, yeah, that's cool. It's a bonus.
See, look, dudes, the average man is casually funnier than her. Like, just your average dude sitting around talking shit is funnier
Mhm.
than her, and she's a professional. Which kind of leads me to think she got her name from some dude that was trying to smash. Like, there was some dude in the chain of dicks, one in her life, somewhere in the chain of dicks that is her life. One dude was like, "Girl, you are hilarious. You just hilarious." And she was like, "This nigga right." And then she went on, she stopped fucking him. And then she went on to go do comedy. Like, that's totally how that happened. You can't tell me otherwise.
I just noticed the pun, the just hilarious, just hilarious, just is that what you're saying? Like just hilarious, just hilarious. I just noticed that. I didn't even notice that's what she was doing.
A person can change
I'm
from
telling you,
doing
because
that is
some dude
because
got it. Some dude told her that shit.
Mm-hmm. I think she want to be an IG model real bad. Like she posts more pictures of her body where she's trying to position herself to make her ass look big. She posts more of those pictures than what she do actually funny pictures, but
She
she just got normal, decent body, It's nice, but
she's a
it ain't Instagram thick Instagram model thick body like that, but she try. She be trying.
No, she is a straight woman with dyke energy, and I don't know if she can fix that. That's really the problem. She is a straight woman with aggressive masculine lesbian energy.
Damn it.
Like, she's the girl that you use to get other girls into a threesome.
I didn't think about that.
I'm telling you, you send her out there, yo, go get her for me. And she'll do it. She'll be like, yo, what up? And that's how you get it working, bro. It always works better when you send a woman out in the front.
All right, let's roll it.
Feel a person can change from doing that is because I used to beat the shit out of these niggas.
Yeah.
Oh shit. God damn.
You didn't expect that, did you? I was holding that. I was saving that. I didn't want to tell you.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I used to beat the shit out of these bitches. Everyone I dated, I used to choke them. And like,
bro, don't say that out loud.
Hold on. Wait, I did it.
Whoa.
Hold on. I did it like that just to make everybody take it in. Just how fucked up it is to be sitting there saying, I used to beat the shit out these bitches. All of them. Everyone I dated.
Now, look, I'm gonna go out on a branch. I'm gonna go way out on a limb here. You can totally cut the limb off behind me if you need to, but this is why I say, generally speaking, men are just kind of like better people, and I think women expect that from us anyway. This is why I feel fine saying it openly. But men are generally better people, right? In a room full of men, when a man is like, "Listen, sometime, yo, I used to beat the shit out of these bitches," most of the other guys are gonna be like, "Whoa, that, huh? Really?" Like that kind of statement usually gets like some questions and some odd looks from other men. Whereas like in a room full of women, they gonna high five each other. Be like, "Girl, these niggas deserve it." Like it's a whole different energy when women talk about it.
Yeah. It is. That's wild. That's wild. That's wild. Cause like they looking at her with so much sympathy in their eyes. Like when you used to beat the shit out of them men, what were you going through? How was your mental health? Like, were you okay? What trauma did you have in your past that led you there? Did your father used to abuse you? It's like that's how they looking, right? Like she just said she used to beat the shit out of niggas, and they looking like they want to give her a hug. Like they want to hug her for that announcement. It took so much strength for you to tell us that. Like she's like a hero now for being so vulnerable to just flippantly say she used to beat a man's ass.
She is a hero. That's exactly what she is right now. She's become the star and the hero because she beats niggas up. That's Black love.
All right.
Feel a person can change from doing that is because I used to beat the shit out of these niggas.
Yeah. I can relate.
Listen.
Hold on, wait. And if she used to beat the shit out of these niggas, just average into the equation that means they didn't fight back. Because this is a little chick. I mean, I think she's been, work for her career. She's been working out and getting in shape. She looked like she could throw a punch right now, I guess. But you go back further. She was a little bitty chick. She's a little bitty chick. Yeah. So that means she was beating the shit out of them, and they were not fighting back. Just let that part sink in too. With all this stuff about men beating women, but it is women can sit there and tell the stories of how beating the shit out of men and men not fighting back.
This is also a byproduct of what we do to boys. This is why, I was talking about like how you should promote your sons. You ever notice you get around other ethnicities and like you'll see this mostly in Arab cultures and in Hispanics to a lesser degree, but you get around like certain Arab or just, not even Muslim per se, just that Arab culture, right? That Arabian desert culture, right? the men,
Desert.
right? No, because they got Christians or whatever. So there's a culture there that's deeper than just like the religion that the people are in. This is how they've operated for thousands of years. You know, whatever religious hat the people are wearing, there's a sort of commonality about how things work. And generally speaking, the men are just de facto in charge, right? Whereas with in American culture, especially with black boys, you got a generation of boys who've been told never ever hit a girl. And so this right here, what you see is the product of couple of generations of boys being raised to never ever hit a girl. Whereas like this conversation would never even happen in anywhere in Arabia.
Oh,
You know, I doubt this conversation would happen south of the border. I mean, hell, they probably don't even have this conversation in Florida.
He said, once you get close, once you get close to that border, it's less of this shit. He said they don't have
The
it in
Cubans,
Florida.
like, no, listen, they have a different vibe. It's a whole different energy there. And then obviously, you know, there's levels to it. But generally speaking, I think the argument holds.
Yeah.
Listen. When you growing up looking at abuse,
Oh, hold
that
on.
is
The man in pink laughed.
shit out of these niggas.
Yeah, that quote is appropriate. The man in pink laughed.
I used to beat the shit out of these niggas.
Yeah. I can relate.
Listen. When you growing up looking at abuse, that is how you know how to react because you're so angry. I fucked around and
Yep, that's the excuse. See, she grew up in abuse. I bet she don't even know if Jess Hilarious actually grew up in abuse. She just tried to retrofit an excuse into the story. Like don't just say you used to beat the shit out of them. Give your traumatic backstory. Let me just plug in a traumatic backstory just so we can smooth this over a little bit better.
Tell us about that time you had to jump out of a pimp's moving car. Like, we want to hear that story. I would love to hear that.
abuse. That is how you know how to react because you're so angry. I fucked around and found out, honey.
I think
I
we all
was
fucked around and
dealing
found
with
out.
this nigga, and I was so used to what would you say? Bink, yo said. Bink. I was like, whoa.
Snapped her little ass back to reality.
Okay. Yeah, when that nigga blacked your eye, he snatched your little ass back
He
to
did.
reality.
I told you
you
that.
fucking two-piece his ass too.
Yeah, I did because he stole my money. So,
It sounds like y'all are abusers over this bitch.
No. Reform.
Listen, they can never come back, bro. No matter how much they talk about reform, they can never come back.
That I think that part right there, for the most part, can't get reformed. I agree 100%. Ain't no when they on that shit, where they getting violent with men, I don't think that go nowhere. I think the only thing that could happen is sort of like what she said right there, where she said a dude finally hit her back. I think she's probably not as quick with the trigger no more. She's probably assessing the hell out these dudes. Let me see if I'm with that dude who gon' take it. Let me just test the water a little bit. Let me mush his head. Okay, ooh, he accepted that mush. Okay. Let me she'd probably just start off light, do a little bit and then just let it build up, and it's like, all right, I've done enough bullshit to him. I'm pretty sure he gonna take this right cross and keep it pushing. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Like I think that's where she's at with it. But I do believe. Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, did we kind of low key crack the code on domestic violence and black love?
Explain.
Well, typically you would expect the man to be the aggressor, right? That's the general story of domestic violence, right? Anywhere you go, that's kind of how DV is presented to you. And what you find out though from men is that, like, listen, she'll hit me she'll hit me 100 times before I hit her, and if I ever hit her, I go to jail. That's kind of the reality of the situation. So it leads me to ask, like, maybe the women are actually more violent. Maybe I'm not going to speak to the past, because maybe y'all was getting Ike Turner all the time. Maybe that was true. And you're like, who knows, right? Maybe. But in the modern world, it seems to me women are more abusive than men because they have protection. They get away with it.
Yeah, no doubt. No, I agree. Excuse me. I agree 100% with that. And I don't want to beat this dead horse because I've done a lot of content on this, but it's data to support it. If you want to find this chart and see the article written on this, just type in just go on good old Google and type in what do you type in? Type in
blackdemographics.com. Did we get this from there?
No, this one didn't come from there, but just type in just type in excuse me, unidirectional violence in relationships, or unidirectional domestic violence or something like that. And I'm trying to get rid of that banner. So everybody could see it better. All right, there it is right there. All right. Yeah, so basically what it's talking about, in all relationships, 84% of them have violence, 84% of them, there's no violence, 16% of them, there is violence. Of that 16% of the relationships where there is violence, 58% of that is bidirectional, and 42% of it is unidirectional. Bidirectional meaning two people being violent back and forth with each other. Unidirectional being what Jess Hilarious just described, which used to beat niggas' ass, and they weren't fighting back. So of that 42% unidirectional violence, when it's just one person doing the ass whooping, 66% of that is perpetrated by women, and 33% of that is perpetrated by men. So when it comes to unidirectional violence, where it's just one person doing the ass whooping, women are more violent than men. That is a proven fact at this point. So we can confidently say women are more violent in relationships than men. The only thing you could possibly say is that when it comes to the bidirectional violence, or that 33%, you could make a case that because men are stronger, they're whooping more, they doing more damage. I accept that. And with great power comes responsibility. I accept that. But the fact of the matter is, the raw data, without applying human elements to it and mitigating factors and this or that, or how much how much stronger he is and all of that, just the raw number says women are more violent than men. So that's a fact. Like, we're not even speculating on that. Women are more violent than men. There it is. But yeah, that's that. And so relating this, or circling this back to the original topic, I guess, are they learning, or are they just faking it? Are they just faking this thing? I think what we see right here, what we saw right there, is her basically doing what I determine and what I assess to be, essentially faking it. Essentially faking like she's grown from that, she's reformed. No, I think if you was ever a woman who was fighting men, and she admitted that she was beating their ass, which means they weren't fighting back. Whenever she admits that, I don't think somebody who's operating in that capacity, I don't think they could have I don't think they could have a normal relationship. I don't. I think she's going to find that that happy medium of a guy who she could get live with, and he gonna get live back, and then they gonna go at it a little bit. They gonna hit on each other a little bit. They gonna have fights, and then they gonna be fucking later. It's damn near like that becomes their foreplay. It's like that's how I look at those ones when I see them violent chicks. That violent, that arguing, that fighting, and all that shit. That's their foreplay. That I don't
think that's
think
true.
I don't think they come back from that. I don't.
No, I think that is true. I think because like the dynamics that we were talking about, as far as like having all the modern entrapments, I mean all the modern comforts of life, rather, and not really needing the male leadership to actually provide in the same way. what winds up happening is that masculine urge, it just gets channeled all into just, sport fucking, just recreational sex. That's pretty much the only real avenue left for that, all that masculine energy, is because, like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna buy her a house? She had a house when you met her.
Yeah. It's funny. I just was recently watching something. I was recently watching something where a chick was it was one of those panel shows. It was like men and women there, and they having a discussion or whatever. And the chick was saying that, I do for myself and I'm good. And she was just on some, it's just there just to give me a good time. That's it. That's, it was like literally nothing else to it. Like she didn't want nothing else. She didn't, like she had made her peace with it. She made her peace with it, even though, she says, I think she said she's not going, he can't be broke. He got to be able to take care of himself. But other than that, she was just on some, long as there's a good time being had, she was good. I think, even though it probably some nuance in it where, a certain amount of the good times she like to have probably cost a lot of money. So she probably still need him to have money, but she's still keeping him at bay when it comes to the other masculine stuff that a man is supposed to do. She don't want none of that. It's just all pleasure and fun. It's like a lot of them have accepted, certain degrees or levels of hedonism, basically. Like they're good with it. And that has a lot to do with the whole modern woman angle of it. And then that's when, time comes over time when they find themselves, over 40, making, like I said, the crying in the car snot bubble videos after, they realize that, oh shit, I'm sitting here, over 40, overweight with a couple kids by a couple men, and it's not really the type of life I want to land. This ain't where I wanted to land, basically. And then they start crying in the car and shit. But so that's how that ends up happening. The link is in the chat if anybody else want to have a piece of this conversation, by the way. And shout out to Jackie Jack with the $5 super sticker. Do appreciate you. Appreciate everybody supporting the stream. Yeah, do feel free.
That.
Huh?
I'm sorry. I'm gonna send you that Corey Holcomb clip. So I know you wanted to get on that. I'm gonna put that.
Oh yeah. Let's get into that. We make it like a double hitter 2-part show or whatever.
Because Corey, he, again, I like the whole conversation about promoting your sons over your daughters, right? I think Corey Holcomb, he dropped a certain reality here. It's not that this is an all men kind of thing, but I think this does have it speaks to the nature of men, perhaps, and this idea that because of the relationship with different mothers, it affects how you love the children. And I think there's a little bit of truth in that, because as a man, you kind of have you love the children through the mom for the most part. If things are good, right? If things are bad, you make the decision. You take on the responsibility of loving your children around the mom. But I think it holds true that, you do kind of love the children through the mom. And so as the woman, that relationship, it can have an effect on, how the children are ultimately brought up, like not how they're brought up. It can have an effect on how the man sees his own children.
Yeah. And it's some truth in that with some men. I don't like it. I don't like that. I frown upon that when men operate in that way. I actually found a version of the clip. I don't know if this is the best version of it, but I'll roll with it. I think the one that you sent me before, it was from Twitter and the lips were out of sync.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know which one is the best one. I don't know if this is the
better let it fly. I don't know.
All right. Yeah. I'm about to let this roll. Hold on. Hold up. All right, let's roll it. Let's roll it. Damn it. Okay, here we go.
Your mother, we don't love you like that. If we don't love your mother, we don't love you like that. What we do, we try to be moral and humane to you little stray fucks that she...
Oh, this is better than my clip.
Ooh.
Is your mama gonna tell you about how many Boy, you made it out that motherfucking Freddy Krueger boiler room of a womb of your mama.
God damn.
Finally had you, and now I'm supposed to stop everything I'm doing in life for your little ass. Get the fuck out of here. Go over there with your mama, and when you grow up, let's try to build a friendship. America, please believe me when I tell you this. This is not all men, but I would say it's about 80% of men. If we don't love your mother, we don't really love you, motherfucker. If we don't love your mother, we don't.
God damn. That's just too much for me. That's just
that was your whole clip, because I think my clip is like a second half of that. So if you can kind of play them together and get like a longer explanation of it.
All right, cool.
Because I think what he's laying out. All right, this is how I see the argument. All right, let's look at it on its base level and remove all this extra society stuff going on here, right? And base human male female dynamics. As a woman, you want your offspring to get as much as they can from their father, from the man. And so men being men, you may have to actually compete with another woman. And so if you're like look at the whole multiple wives thing, right? If you're the first wife, more often than not, your children get the biggest pie, right? So like even the stories about this going like into the Bible or whatever. So the first son, the oldest son, he is the automatic heir to whatever the father has. He takes over the family throne. And so if you are like the second wife, or you're just, the woman who is, down the ladder or whatever, your children get less. That is a very basic concept. That's something that's as old as humanity. That's just how we operate. Now, what I think he's kind of explaining in his harsh kind of way that Holcomb does, as a woman, if you love your children and you want your children to get the most that they can get out of whatever man is their father, then it is your imperative as a woman to encourage that man to love you as much as possible for the children. I think it holds true. It's a little maybe shocking to a woman's psyche, but I think that's kind of how men do operate on our base level. Now, like he said, we try to be moral, and we try to, we don't want to look like we don't want to look like the bad guy. We don't want to have a bad reputation and all that shit. So dudes that do the right thing, and they'll pay the check. But I think that's the truth. I think that's absolutely the truth. Out of all the women, the children who come from the women you love most are probably the children you pay more attention to.
Yeah. And well, okay, when I say yeah, I'm saying yeah, I understand what you're saying. I don't like, but I don't let me just make it clear. I don't like that. I don't subscribe to that. I don't, but there's an element of truth to it for some men. Some men, they will be good dads to the woman, to the woman's kids that they're with. And notice how I worded that. I didn't even say to their kids when they're with the woman. It's whatever woman that they're with, that's who they're going to be. They're going to be a good dad to those kids. That it just.
I just saw Black Twitter having a heart attack about that very thing. Like, y'all niggas be better fathers to y'all girlfriend kids than y'all own kids. And I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to touch that. I'm going to let that one go.
But it does speak volumes to something. And again, listen, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't give a pass to the dudes who do that, who don't, who be on some. If I ain't with the mama, then fuck the kids. I don't condone that. I don't condone that. But it does speak to this. It does speak to this. When you're getting with a man and you want the best for your kids and you want the best interest and best outcome for your kids, yeah, the man you get with, the man you choose to have kids with, that matters. They tried to clown the manosphere when Manosphere was driving that point home real vigorously about the man you choose. The man you choose is dictating the outcomes and results that you get. Okay, but it does put an extra onus and pressure on women that they don't want when it comes to making sure that they do what they got to do to try to make sure that relationship works out. We unearthed and dug up all the bones, and we know the deal. Women are leaving and breaking up these relationships. We got that figured out. All right. If you get into the point where you about to be having kids with somebody, that you make that shit work out. Make that shit work out, because there's a percentage of them, and I think a lot of the percentage that do that are of the men who are already on, like I said, they got that sketchy non-committal type of energy, or some would call it, fuckboy energy or whatever. Like those, I think those are more, in most cases, the type of dudes that, like, if I ain't with her, then fuck her and them kids. Like women control their womb and who they get pregnant by. I'm not excusing the dudes who just got some fuck them kids energy, but they control their womb and who they get pregnant by. And they get pregnant by those type of dudes. If you want that father in your kid's life, then yeah, you need to make sure that you are doing anything you can to make sure that shit work out, because there is a percentage that where if they ain't with them, they just own some. Okay, they not with the mama. These kids just became a bill, and it's hard to love a bill. You don't see it, you're not raising it, but it's a bill that you gotta pay. That can get annoying.
That is the truth of the matter, though. You turn not the man, but as a woman, you turn your children into a bill.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. That's what it becomes. Like, you don't think bring this more prominent trending story back into the conversation. I'm pretty sure Kanye West loved his kids. You could just hear how he talk about his kids. I know he, with all his, volatile up and down emotion, a man that emotional got a lot of love for his kids. I think we know that and understand that. Don't you think that now when he's going through those moments where, she kind of fucking him over on the seeing his kids, or, it's a birthday party or something that he can't come to, and then when he try to do something, try to get his shit set up with them, and then she pulls some bullshit, and me and the kids are going to Paris or whatever the fuck, when stuff like that happen, and then you add to the fact that he's paying $200K per month for those kids, hard liquid cash, and like I said in my pre-record, we know that being worth $400 million, that doesn't mean he got that much cash laying around. When he was worth $6 billion, he didn't have $6 billion laying around. We know that because through the stroke of a pen, it was gone. So it wasn't their hard liquid physical cash. So I'm saying all that to say that even when you're worth $400 million, $200K liquid cash is a month is still a lot. It's still a lot. So that's a bill that he has to pay and be fucked around and can't see him when he want to see him, and gotta go through her to be in a life and all of that. That's gonna fester up to where, before, these are my loving kids that I love and I do anything for, to the point where this is another bill that I have to pay. It's going to turn into that. And when they go from your kids that you love to a bill that you have to pay, that changes things. Now, I don't want to, and I ain't in the business of excusing men who just be like, fuck them kids, I'm just about to cut the check because it's my court-ordered legal obligation, but fuck her and the kids. I don't condone that. But
leave that to me. Leave that to me.
Okay. You go ahead and go down that dark road. Then go ahead.
It's not dark. There's street lights. There's police. It's not. It's fine. It's totally fine. You've been lied to. You've been totally lied to. No. But here's the reality of it, though, right? As long as we force responsibility on men, you'll never alter the behavior of women. And I was thinking about. This is like a weird segue, but it connects. So I'll explain why. Anton Daniels, he's content creator, and he recently went on Dr. Phil, and he made this wild statement about how,
What the
poor
fuck?
people are.
I didn't know about
Yeah,
it. I think somebody said that. I didn't know it happened already. That's already.
no,
That was
it
already.
happened. Yeah.
Oh,
So I mean, this was
check
like
that
within
out.
the week, though. It happened just this week, I believe.
Okay.
So anyway, he goes on Dr. Phil and he's talking about how, too many poor people are having babies and, poor people shouldn't be reproducing. You shouldn't reproduce unless you can afford the kid. And the direction he was going in, I didn't really care for the direction. I get the argument and I support the argument, but I just don't want to force people to not have kids. We're going to take people's kids. Like the implications are scary. But my take on it is just let them starve. And that's kind of the position that men have to take with women. And it's an awful position, perhaps, right? But if you really expect women to understand that in order for my children to get the best out of this man probably has to love me in some capacity, and you have to maintain that love. Well, somebody's kid's gonna have to starve until they get it. That's the unfortunate reality of female nature. They don't understand until it's their own baby.
Yeah.
Solomon. You remember the Bible. You remember. I feel weird just saying that. You remember the Bible. But in the Bible,
very, very vaguely, very vaguely.
King Solomon. The King Solomon and there's a story, there's a famous Bible story. I remember I was a kid because I had like one of these illustrated Bibles, so I could see the picture of King Solomon and the two girls fighting over the baby, and the one chick who it wasn't her baby. She really looked like a hater in that picture. But I remember the story of King Solomon and the two girls. Somebody's baby died overnight, and one woman steals, she like switches the baby around and says, look, it wasn't my baby that died. And so now they get in front of the court, the king. And Solomon's like, listen, I don't know whose baby is who. And so to be fair, we'll just split the baby in half and give it to both of you. And so immediately one of them is like, you know what? Don't cut the baby in half. Let the woman have it. And Solomon's like, well, there you go. It's her baby. And I'm just bringing that example up to be like, you know what? When it's your baby on the line, you'll probably like come to some reasonable conclusion. And that's kind of the deal with women. And it's a harsh, brutal reality, but women respect power and consequences. That's it. That's it. Money is just an extension of power and consequence, right? I have the money to do things for you. I have the money to pay for your suffering. So power and consequence is the only language that truly matters in these affairs. If you're not willing to use your power to enact consequence, then I don't see how we get out of this rut. So I said all that to say the guy who just walks away and pays the bill, that's her consequence. Why is he wrong?
John Doe in the building says, Corey Holcomb spitting facts. Look at Game of Thrones. Jon Snow was a bastard and the entire Stark family treated him differently. Thank you for the super chat.
Facts.
Appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. And we are joined by
this is Pernu.
I know.
Oh, okay.
I see the name down there. What's up? What you got on this subject? What you got on this subject?
Hey, it's good to see you guys. Sorry, my camera's not working well. But what I will say, I know from I have a lot of African friends, and they will tell me straight up. They'll say, if they have no say-so in that child's life, they are not the father. You know, if they don't have any type of control,
that's what's up.
You know, they will cut those emotions off. I think the same. I think it's similar for some brothers. If I have a good friend, he basically lost custody of his kids, and his wife or ex-wife moved across the country. And I mean, I didn't agree with what he did, but he emotionally cut himself off because I mean, he tried for a while to connect, but the woman would not let him contact the child, would not let him, wouldn't let him call the children. He would try to call the children, and the mother would answer the phone and say, "Oh, they're not here," or send them presents. He would send them presents. He wouldn't get a thank you or anything like that. And I think for some brothers that wears on some brothers. I mean, I know other brothers who it did not wear on them. They fought a tooth and nail and would go across the country and go to court and do everything they could to get custody. But I think some brothers, when that happens, they cut it off. Also, I think another thing is if you're a type of brother that, you have another woman who you can have children by, you're just invested in those children. So it's a matter of optimizing your investment. So if you have $100, you're going to put $100 into this one group that you're not going to get a lot of benefit from, or you're going to put those same resources toward another set of children where you may get a better bang for your buck.
But this other set of children is
yours.
Okay, yeah, because I was looking at it from a perspective of you're with a woman and she got kids.
Even in that scenario, though, it's still the mechanics are the same. The practicality is the same.
Yeah, it's a thing of if you don't want to be fighting all the time, so you want a situation. A lot of brothers, they want a situation where you don't have to fight to do something. And so if you're with a woman and she's pleasant and those children are pleasant towards you, then you're gonna do something. When you want to take the kids to the zoo, and then they go to the zoo and they say thank you, thank you, Uncle so and so. That could feel good, as opposed to trying to fight to get custody. I'm not saying that's me, but
let me throw this out there real quick. I think what happens sometimes, and I could be wrong, and every scenario is different, but this is why I kind of like when I date women, I don't want to get too like attached to their kids because I have my own children, so I understand that whole weird push-pull kind of thing, right? But I can totally see a situation where a guy who like can't have his own children for whatever reason, he'll throw himself into another woman's family. Mm-hmm. Face first, he will totally take on that role because it's like I gotta flex these muscles some kind of way, and so he'll use it in that way because he can't with his own children.
Yeah, my stepdad, as I understood it, hopefully I'm accurate, but as far as I know, based off my memory, this discussion hasn't came up in a long time, but to my memory, he couldn't have kids, so it is some accuracy in that yeah. The man who can't have kids, they're those I mean, those are, I don't want to say those make the perfect stepdaddies because, like you said, they'll flex those muscles. They got to flex those muscles in some way. So yeah, no, that is a fairly accurate point, but it's still a tough one for me. It's still a tough one for me. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I understand the logic and everything. And it's funny how you said, I think it was Pernue. I think Pernue said something about the overall return on the investment, versus the kids that you're close to in terms of proximity, meaning you're with the woman, even if you and that woman living together, or even but doing something for them gets return on the investment. But how does that return on the investment manifest? It probably manifests in as far as your standing with that woman. You see. So it's almost like it's like the man is doing for the kids for the appeasement of the woman.
But also,
hold on, hey brother, hey, do you got an ear set? You can hear me, right? I was trying to finish, and you just said a whole paragraph on me. but damn, I forgot what I was going to say. But if he's doing what he's doing for the kids for the appeasement of the woman, that makes it to where, damn it, you made me forget my point. So fuck it. Go ahead. I'm completely good.
Well, no, you do stay on this treadmill of like always trying to appease her because your position is forever insecure.
That's that. That's an interesting way to put it. That's an interesting way.
No. Well, like I said before, what are you gonna do? Buy her a house? Like she had a house when you met her, had all the kids in it. You're gonna buy her a bigger house to put her kids in? All right, go for it, homie. See how that works.
I think you have a point, Bernard. What I was referring to as a guy who has multiple women by different mothers, and so
multiple women by different. You mean multiple kids by different mother?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, multiple children by different women. So he may choose to invest more with the women that he has a better relationship, or with the woman he has a better relationship with.
And I get that from the perspective. If somebody, if you got kids by a woman and she and her position is that you ain't shit and you ain't never gonna be shit, and she gonna always view you as not worth a damn, no matter what you do, then it's like, you know, you do something and then it's like you get shit to eat in return. So how you feel about that woman and how she treats you, even when y'all ain't together, I do see how, from the perspective of some men, that affects what they're want to do for their kids. And I don't think it should have. To me, it shouldn't affect. To me, it shouldn't affect. But I'm opening up and evaluating the psychology of a lot of men, what they're subconsciously doing, not even making a calculated decision. In some cases, is just like they're.
Well, I'll put it like this: it's a drain. You know, it's a drain. You're basically, if you have children by a woman you have a contentious relationship with, you're still in relationship with that woman, whether you like it or not. You know, if you're dealing with the children, and so then that's a drain on you. And some men are unable to deal with that drain, and so they cut their losses, and because they don't want that emotional drain. And so they seek a relationship with another woman where they don't have that drain. Like you, Bernard, I don't agree with that to an extent, but I do understand it though.
Like I was saying, though, I think it speaks to something that's just very base in the male psyche. That's why when you brought up the whole African examples, like, you know, when you bring up cultures that are a little bit closer to like baseline human existence, right? Because we live in this fake modern world where everything is a lie.
Hold on real quick. Let me address this. Explain what you mean by Bernard is battling the program. I don't think it's programming that I'm battling. It's these are my fucking kids. Now, granted, I did go through the process of fighting for custody and all of that. I perhaps had I did all that fighting and then still was at a 100% loss, maybe I would have developed a different mentality. But my thing was, I stood in there and I fought, and I got an agreement out of the deal. I got something out of the deal that I could accept. If it would have ended with a situation where I couldn't accept that, where it was just, you know, cut the check and be on what I call the uncle dad schedule. If it would have been on that, then yeah, my love and my passion for my kids probably would have been affected. It probably would have, in a powerless, no control situation, but cutting the check, but get to see them every other weekend and Wednesday from 5 to 8 on an uncle dad schedule. Yeah, so I understand exactly where it's coming from. But I will never stand by and support some fuck them kids energy. It's like I can't go that route. I can't go that route. I want to see men fighting for the kids. That's what I want to see. But I'm empathetic towards, you know, what men are going through and the conclusions that they draw. I mean, I'm very empathetic and sympathetic towards that. But
I think sometimes you have me up here to be the asshole. Like, I think that's part of what's going on here. You bring me up here just to be the asshole, but it's okay because I enjoy this role, bro. No. I can't speak for Larry Legend, so I'll get that out the way. I don't know that this is what he's thinking.
I don't know what he meant by that. I took it as a slight or a jab. He's saying Bernard is trying to fight programming. Like, don't talk to me like I'm programmed, and I dismantle the programs, motherfucker. Okay, go ahead.
I want to speak to that idea directly, though, the programming, because when you first pulled that up, it reminded me of something from years ago when you and I pretty much first started talking on your panels, right? And I was kind of getting a little bit personal at the time, and I was explaining how when I first encountered the whole family court system, it became apparent to me that my children aren't actually mine. Mm-hmm. They may become mine if I win this fight. And that's what when you were talking about your children, the way I processed that, they weren't yours until you finally won.
I hear you.
Yeah,
And that's kind of the programming. When he says programming, that's what I think. That's what it spoke to for me. As men, we do operate under this programming where if she spits out a baby, you're on the hook forever. But the reality of it is that's barely your kid. It's your child by DNA only. But by any other metric, it's not your child.
Yeah,
That is
I mean, I
correct,
had to
and
fight.
that is correct to the point of, and I looked up the laws in my state. This was I did this fairly recently and did content on it. RM actually had the video where I talked about it. She had it clicked on the screen, but in the state of Michigan, I don't know how it is, nationwide in other states, but in the state of Michigan, if you have a kid and you and that woman are not married, it is literally her kid. She is the presumed custodial parent of the kid. Like, it is essentially legally hers. It only can become legally yours if you take legal action against her. And when you take that legal action against her, and this goes back to Jaquan's statement where he says the fact that you have to fight is the real problem. So when you take legal action against her, she's going to fight against you. So that's what the whole thing, like the battle in my eyes is not even, it's not even with the system or the state or the laws. It's literally, I mean, it is with the laws, because the laws give her the power to give her the high ground in the fight. So, but the fact of the matter is that system is still an inanimate object. She gotta pick up the weapon, load it, cock it, aim, and shoot it at you. So the person that you're fighting is actually her. Like that. So I always make that point. So I mean, you are absolutely right. You just realized that much before I did, that they're not your kids if you have to take legal action against somebody else for them to be your kids. Like you can't argue with that harsh reality. You can't argue that.
Okay. Now that we're in harsh reality, let's walk to the next block. They're not your kids. Why should you do anything more than the legally mandated responsibility?
Because that eventually they're gonna.
Hold on real quick. I don't have a good answer to that question, other than to say that you have emotional attachment to your to your walking your DNA that's walking around. And so when you average that into the equation, like, that is the reason that you're doing something. But when you're detached from the woman and you're in a situation where you don't have the power and you're on Uncle Dad mode at that point, then that's where those emotions die off. That's when those emotions start falling by the wayside, and then this little person just becomes a bill. that a bill that you bounce on your knee twice a month. It's like, that's what it turns into. So I get it. I get it.
So right. So if I'm hearing this correctly, we're just operating under a sense of emotional blackmail without getting the traditional patriarchal reward for it. It's all just emotional blackmail, which is why I went down this road of, let me be the asshole. No, I have no problem with those guys who say, you know what, I'm just going to pay my bills and go on with my life. Because the reality of it is, you didn't really have those kids in the first place. Like, they were her kids, and you're going to fight a possibly losing battle. Like somebody in the chat put out, you're going to fight for these kids, and more often than not, you'll walk away with a bill, not with your children, but with just a bill, and you maybe see your kids 50 days a year.
But you know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you do fight, the brothers I know who have fought have won, because the women have been so complacent and are so slack. They feel they get so comfortable. They violate the terms. They move out of state without permission. They become super transient, and if the guy is on it, he'll catch him. And so I've seen that 4 different times where guys were on it and caught it and did it.
Well, that's the thing too. I agree. You
flip
got to
side
put
is-
them people in her life.
Say what?
You got to put them people in her life, bro. That's the only way to really fight back. And men, as men, we hate that, but I think that's the only way forward. Is you got to be on the phone with the FBI damn near every day.
Yeah, we got Corey. Hell, we got Corey Holcomb up on the screen. He was the one that said, "Sprinkle a little dope in." You got to sprinkle a little dope in the stroller when you take the kid back. You got to plant some drugs in that stroller.
Yeah, put some dope in that baby stroller, and then call the police when you walking away. Like, I just dropped off my children, and I think I've seen drug activity at this house. Could you send a unit, please? Shit, why not? I'm not gonna judge you. I only wish I would have been this bold when it was my turn.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I don't even think we played this full clip. Let's go ahead and play this clip so people get the full context of what sparked this rabbit hole of a conversation. These dark roads that I don't like it, but I can't deny the reality of a lot of what's being said. What's being fleshed out, what's being fleshed out in our discussion. He put it in a way to where, I didn't see. Well, maybe I'll change when I look at this whole exact clip. So I'll look at this clip, but in general, I ain't with it. But I understand some dark realities of it. But let's play it.
You said that, Marcus, because I'm finna say some shit that's about to be all over the internet. I already know it. But it's the motherfucking truth, and motherfuckers can act like it ain't the truth, but this is the motherfucking truth. Give me that one more time. What did he say he'll do?
He said he'll give him $6,700 to spend a day with it.
This is the son talking to the father?
Yeah.
Like basically the public, because he's trying to put that out there on the internet. He put it out there. That's the one where he said it, yeah.
Listen to me. America, please believe me when I tell you this. This is not all men, but I would say it's about 80% of men. If we don't love your mother, we don't really love you, motherfucker.
Oh, come on now.
That sounds crazy to D.
Well, no. Oh,
to me too, here. I mean,
let me tell you something.
Not love in that sense, but have some kind of love.
No. Listen to me, Darlene. You and all the rest of the people who not used to this shit. If we don't love your mother, our love for you is hard to we love you out of obligation.
If it was my
that's how you feel like
to me that goes for like stepkid, but not my real.
Look at D, not D rubbing it on me.
Well,
but it is a case like that. Let me tell you, if we don't love your mother, we don't love you like that. What we do.
All right. There it is. Yeah. So he put it in a very, very bold and brash kind of way. And I think we teased it out, and Lil Big Nate is with me on the disagree aspect of that. I generally disagree with that. How I felt about the mom, that didn't change how I felt about the kids, but I did go down the rabbit hole of, after a long, grueling and expensive custody battle, if all would have been lost in the end, that would have changed things. I actually contemplated this is one thing that I actually contemplated. When I was getting at wit's end with it, I did contemplate getting my CDL license and just living on the road and just making so much money, driving 365 days a year, to where whatever she getting out of me in child support ain't gonna affect. It's gonna affect the bottom line, but the bottom line will be so high to where I'm good and whatever, and just live on the road and just be some nomadic traveling truck driving dude, make sure I'm putting enough hours up to make six figures and not give a shit.
I made that same calculation.
You did?
I did.
That's literally what you're doing right now?
I just bought a truck like a month ago.
Okay. You was already driving though, wouldn't you?
I was renting, man. I had to, work my way into the game. But yeah, I bought a truck. I bought my own truck.
Okay, so yeah, so you So,
Well, no,
but
what,
either
what
way,
you were saying, that process, that thought process, I was having those thoughts, like you said, I'm having these thoughts in the middle of the fight. So it was years ago when I'm thinking like this. It just took me a while to actually get to the point where I'm driving my own truck or whatever. But like in the middle of the fight, yeah, you absolutely think like that. Like, you know what? It would save me so much trouble and heartache and gray hairs to just cut bait and just keep moving. Go fish in another pond, bro. Just cut bait and fish somewhere else.
yeah, yeah. I don't like it. I don't like it, but yeah.
I mean, I think that is a
Go ahead,
calculation that
Pergo.
brothers make. But some brothers, the thought does enter your mind, and that probably enters every brother's mind. Like, what is the worst case scenario? And so some brothers decide, hey, I'm going to stick it out, and other brothers decide to cut and run.
Yeah, yeah. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. Circling it back to the original topic. So we'll get Pernu's thoughts on that. Are women learning or are they faking? Are they faking it? Did you just laugh?
Yeah,
Don't
I did
laugh.
laugh. That's kind of funny. How they faking it? I guess there was one YouTuber that said, who cares if they're faking it? As long as they stay on script. Who cares if they're acting? As long as they stick with the role, that's all that counts. And
I put it like this: if you're talking about a personal relationship, and it was somebody, I don't know who it was, I can't remember. I think it may have been Book of Alpharonomy. If it wasn't him, I apologize for
it was him.
Hold on. Okay, good. Okay,
Yeah.
good. So I think we're talking about the same person.
Yeah.
Where somebody said, "I don't care if she's a good actor. I'm a good director. I'm gonna give her some good lines and a good and a good script to work with." And that's that. So it's something to that in a individual relationship. It is something to that. But when you look at go ahead, Hood.
I'm sorry. I was just kind of, I'm sorry, but aren't all women acting? Isn't that what womanhood is? Like, why do you think they wear hair and makeup? And that you're always on stage. What the fuck?
Yeah. No, I understand that. I understand that completely. But yeah, there's that aspect of it. Then there's an aspect of it from what we had the videos and everything that we discussed and whatnot, where Chick was what the hell was she doing? I can't even remember the beginning of the show. but no, the
one saying men were undervalued or something.
Yeah. That shit is like this. Yeah, there's a lot of them. I call them male advocates. They speaking up for men. They're speaking up on behalf of men, and it is what it is. It is what it is, and I got no issue with that. And like Conservative said earlier, they're good. They're allies in the propaganda war. They're allies in the propaganda war.
Now, Bernard,
go ahead.
So I think one of the problems that sometimes some of the men have is we want or desire unconditional love from a woman, and like Mike Tyson said, that's you don't get that from the woman. Under good conditions, you get that from your mother. If you had a good mother, but you don't get that from your woman. We're like lions out here. The lion is the leader of the pride until he falls off, and that's the nature of the wild kingdom. It's always, what have you done for me lately? Matter of fact, it talks about that in that book, The Way of the Superior Man. Mm-hmm. Your past achievements mean nothing to her. It's about today.
Well, as shocking as like emotionally, psychologically shocking that may be, I think the idea is that you have to make peace with that, right? Exactly. Because it's just a part of human nature. Like, men have dark sides to our masculine nature and all that. And so that's just the reality of it. Yep. And I'm not like a huge Jordan Peterson fan like I used to be, but I tell you one thing though, he said a lot about the concept of accepting responsibility, and that's the kind of the point. Well, I think the correlation between what you said and what Jordan Peterson said about accepting responsibility is that for men, you're actually supposed to be in a situation where you have to earn your place. That it solidifies you internally as a man. Like men need trials and tribulations to make better men. And so if women were to just give you everything you ever wanted without trying, you would never be a better man, because women are just a natural born motivator to men.
Yeah, and all of that does make sense, I think, in an ideal, perfect world. But we just one of the videos that we played earlier, we just saw the not put it like this. Now that women are essentially just fully free, you know, legally, obviously, but more so socially in terms of, you know, a social contract or what's expected, they in many ways, you know, case by case, individually dictate the terms of those trials or what a man would hurdles or loops a man has to jump through. So we just saw this like the video we played where a chick was on some, oh, he was perfect, everything was great, blah 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 blah, his car was old. So it's like, so when you say that, you know, life wouldn't look right, wouldn't balance out right if a woman just gave you everything you wanted or just did for you everything you needed her to do and you didn't have to do nothing. But when the thing that you have to do is some cockeyed shit based on her you know, erratic emotional wants and needs that have nothing to do with nothing practical that matters, it does turn into a situation where the Jordan Petersons of the world, I think they can get out of touch with the reality of the current social dynamics between men and women. When the thing that you got to have is, you know, is you know, a car that was made within a certain year or some shit, or some good wavy hair or some, you know, it turns into some goofy ass shit. Because like you said earlier, she got her house, she got a place to stay, she got a roof over her head, she got running water, electricity. She's good on all that. She can have all that by herself. So the stuff that's required of you is really, in many ways, superficial, surface level stuff that make her feel good or get her tingly on the inside. So that's where all of that breaks down and falls apart. The man aspect of a man have to accomplish, and the woman, you know, is attracted to the accomplishment of it all. You know, that falls by the wayside nowadays.
Yeah, that's a fundamental problem. As I said, I've been trying to think about the whole solution, the whole situation, you know, without malice. And there are just structural realities to this whole male female gender dynamic thing. You just can't get around that. I don't know how we like resolve these issues. I don't claim to be a genius on it all. I just look at the old solutions as the proper way to go. But like we're in the modern world, we can't go back to the 50s. So I genuinely don't know how to untie the knot, but I think the problems are you know, obvious to anyone looking.
Yep, that much is true. That much is definitely true. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Definitely hit the like button. But yeah, it's
And look, Cold Steel.
Go ahead.
Cold Steel in the chat, he says, have we forgotten about homosexuals who do everything with no effort? Come on, guys. I'm not saying that these people don't exist. I'm saying that that's not how you create proper men. I mean, the fact that you acknowledge them as homosexuals kind of highlights the problem. Like, you create a class of men who are basically functionally useless, right? Except for that one thing, you know, the tingle. That's all they provide is the tingle.
That's sort of what I was talking about when I said the tingle, you know, superficial, surface level stuff or tingle stuff ends up being the stuff that a man must accomplish. You know,
well, it's all tingle. Like when you say superficial, it's all a tingle. Because like when you're giving it to a woman, and that's kind of what you're inspiring in her, is that warm and fuzzy feeling. And so what men get
I was talking about the tingle deep, her clit tingling. That's what
I
I
know.
meant.
I
But
was trying not to go there, but it's the same thing though. We're talking about the same phenomena, whether it's an or like a physical feeling or just a mental emotion. It's the same thing. It's the tingle. It's all. The tingle is all. And so when we're talking about like how men come into the situation, you are reduced to being the provider of tingles.
oh shit. Well, Edward Anderson in the building. What's going on? What's up, Ed? What you got on this? Ed, you are muted. I don't know if you know that you're muted. Mic check.
Come on, Ed. I was expecting a lot, Ed. Come on, don't be quiet.
I
now.
was too, and I got to go to the restroom and everything. So I was like, this is perfect time.
Like, I knew we could take a break. Well,
yeah,
I was thinking the same thing.
I bring up Ed. I know I can take a break when I bring up Ed.
Go check some emails.
I just
You
heard
only got to deal with me for a couple of days. I'm on my way somewhere, so it's a good topic.
All right, yeah. Well, go ahead. You got the mic. I gotta use the restroom, so I'm gonna pass it to you and let you rock out. I should still be able to hear everything, but go ahead. You got it.
Yeah. One thing that a lot of dudes don't think about too when we talk about homosexuality is we never go deeper than that, which is when you operate like that and you don't have nothing else that you're, bringing to. When I say to bring to the table, I'm just talking about in life, let alone dealing with one female. Is when you are actually a full-fledged homosexual, that is not a good thing. Now, I want to be very clear. If you're a dude that you got to be in do what I got to do mode, and you got to use that as a stepping stone, like maybe you in a real bad situation, maybe you just got out of jail, maybe you were homeless, whatever. We know what black men got to deal with, right? And then you got to deal with that shit as a temporary thing to kind of get yourself in a situation where you can think and kind of step beyond that. Like Grinch was like Grinch has like a perfect example of that, by the way, in his stepping stone and him doing great things. That's one thing. I want to be real clear about that. So on an individual basis, that's one thing. But what happens is most dudes that go into that mode, they stay in that mode. Now they may do higher levels of that mode, but they become gigolo ass. They don't become the foundation of anything. They get added on to somebody else's foundation. That may be propped up by like welfare or whatever things that women get subsidized with, which is where a lot of the mommy shit comes from, a lot of disrespect. Like, I'm not saying this is where all this comes from in general. I'm just saying in those situations, that's what that is. Because eventually these chicks get out digmatized. Because when women are operating like that and they're operating in their masculine, just like how dudes be wanting a new bitch, these chicks be wanting another dude. And it's just a matter of, can they find equal or greater value? And when they do, that's when the bullshit really starts. And so my point is that a lot of dudes can hit the wall. A lot of your homeless black men are black men that used to be homosexuals. This is why a lot of black men that are homeless are black men in certain age groups in which that accelerates. Because then you start encountering ageism, depends on what part of the country you're in, if the cost of living is crazy. Ageism in the workplace. I don't give a damn how much you niggas think you that nigga. You niggas are not gonna be in your 40s out fucking a 25-year-old that's a dude that's that nigga. That nigga that's 45 is not out fucking a that nigga that's 25. It's not happening. And what you see in our community is women, not only women are more likely to date younger, and that's more acceptable in the community. Men are more likely to date older women for nigga trinkets. It may not be full-blown homosexuality, but it'll be what I call sexual bartering, where the dude may not necessarily be living with the chick, but the dude may get in some shoes, Xbox, shit like that. Maybe not directly cash money, but little shit like that. I've seen that. And I've even heard Jason Black talk about that, because a lot of dudes have these experiences. And it always be these chicks in their 40s and shit when they're starting to have these midlife crises. And these women are willing to go young enough that I'm not even going to mention how young they will go. There's stories of Jada Pinkett Smith, Mary J. Blige. So it ain't just them going down to motherfuckers that are 25. I've always said it. There is no recognized age of consent in the black community for black males. If you look the part, you are the part. And black men operate on that paradigm, and black women operate on that paradigm.
Well,
Now, does
Ed,
every black coach, huh?
I'm sorry. I wanted to jump in on something you were bringing up here. What you're describing is something
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about too. Women, I almost think they understand this like intuitively without even having group conversations. Women are in the habit of breeding stepdaddies because why not? And so all this sexual being sexually aggressive to the boys and all that stuff, over time it creates a class of men who are only sexually useful. And you got either stepdaddies or homosexuals. I think women are kind of creating this on purpose because it supports their goals.
Oh yeah, well I call it the gynocracy, but people want to act like I'm just bullshit with that. The guy, and what people don't understand is the gynocracy is a collective consciousness. It's a zeitgeist. It's a perverted zeitgeist, and that zeitgeist in of itself reproduces itself, just like anything else. And it reproduces, and it's not just black women; it's black men. Because a lot of dudes, this is where we start running into issues with a lot of the game coaches, because you got game coaches that they'll protect certain codes. They don't lead to actually producing a community. It leads to producing what you're just describing. And it's dudes that actually accept this perverted hierarchy. They accept this. You got niggas that they are perfectly fine with a community. And you know what? Let me not even just say the gang coach. It's not just the gang coaches. Let me be very clear about this. You got dudes like here who's on this channel. Hello. I won't throw this at Mr. Lego, but what's that dude? Dear Future Wifey, Hello Future Wifey. Yeah. He's one of these niggas, and I'm gonna say I don't got a personal issue with this brother. I want to be clear about this, but and this man, I know I'm saying that, and I'm about to say what I'm about to say. So y'all gotta follow me. The mentality that Hello Future Wifey has, or Dear Future Wifey, whatever his name is, this is like some of the worst niggas on the planet. These niggas are like as bad as fucking drug dealers. They sell crack. Like, this is how bad I think. Why? Because I'm making a very bold claim. Because these niggas are telling other black men to do some shit that they not gonna do. And Game Changer did a very good job before he left at calling that shit out and catching them, tripping them outside of that was fucked up, but tripping him on his way out the door when he was like telling black men to deal with something that he wouldn't deal with. Let me be very clear here. If you're not gonna deal with certain sisters or certain women, do not tell other black men to do it. It is like some of the most unhonorable, bitch-made, gutless, yellow shit you could ever do. And my point is, you have a lot of dudes that they believe that the rule. I call it. They believe that other people. I don't want to say it this way, y'all might get mad. But you know how Trump says I don't pay taxes because the rules are made for me not to pay taxes, and that makes me smart. You know how he says that? Mm-hmm. This is how these niggas think. They believe that the taxes don't apply to them. They believe that other dudes should date ugly bitches or less attractive bitches. Now, I'm not talking about women. If you get what you can get, that's how I'm talking about. But they'll tell a nigga they don't have to date a single mother. To date a single mother for the community, but they would never do that shit.
Yeah.
I can't stand niggas like that. I cannot stand, because them niggas literally lie, and they believe in lying for a community that they want to benefit from. So what happens is these dudes, they want to be in a hierarchy where the rules don't apply to them. Not because they have merit, not even because they may have the genetics that they were born with, so it not to, just because they think they're that nigga, but the rules should apply. Everybody else should pay taxes. They shouldn't have to pay. And these will be some of the main niggas trying to tell everybody else what to do, or you're fucked up for not having kids, or you're fucked up for having kids with another race of woman and being married, and you're fucked up for being SYSBM. You're fucked up for doing what's in your own best interest, when on the low, they're doing what's in their own best interest, i.e. Derek Jackson light type niggas.
Yeah.
So,
good stuff. Good stuff. That was a damn good analogy or comparison. I
mean, they don't because they don't pay their taxes, and I'm not saying and you can out earn shit. I'm not saying everybody's gotta you do what you have to do, but these niggas will get right up. They've done it multiple times on your shit, Bernard. They will get right up on this bitch, create whole platforms around the idea of I'm trying to do this and trying to do that, and then they don't live at all like they're talking. well, would you date these women? Oh, no. In fact,
Right.
this nigga literally was complaining about Kendra G because he said, no, I gotta put that shit on private because the bitches that were hollering at me were ugly as fuck. You know, he was like, I had to private my shit because I don't want to talk to these motherfuckers. And I'm like, and that's fine. I'm cool with that. I'm not saying, but what I'm saying is don't sit there and sell that shit to other niggas, having them believe that they got to do something that they might not have to do. No, don't travel. Date this homely bitch. When the nigga got money to travel and earn and did the right shit early. So anyway,
No, I had a conversation just like that. I forget the guy's name, but he's somebody that we probably familiar with a little bit. He be in these manosphere spaces, and anyway, we were having a conversation on some woman's panel. He started doing that same explanation that you just kind of did, and we were talking about how, like, you know, women's dating choices, and they try to get with the good guy later. And he kind of made the argument like, well, that's what's there for you, so go for it. And on the one hand, yeah, that's a practical argument, like go for the women that are there, no matter how awful they are, no matter what they've been through, right? But then I kind of hit him with, bro, you obviously don't love your brothers if that's what you want for them. And I think that's kind of that's the deeper truth. One second before you go off, Ed, because the video that we played at the start of the show kind of spoke to that whole issue where, for all the shit they talk about the community, you don't actually want good things for your brothers, because that would require you to put your brothers ahead of the women that you're trying to fuck.
The one thing that is the core, this is something that no matter who you are, I can confidently say this. You are not Black Manosphere if you do not agree with this. You are not Red Pill if you don't believe in this. You don't agree. You are not for Black men if you don't agree with this. What is good for Black men is good for the Black community. You do not have a functional Black community if you do not have functional Black men.
I basically made the same point earlier.
Black men eventually fucks the community. And what we're talking about is we're basically talking about a fucking assembly line that produces competition and other competitiveness. And we can call that whatever we want to call that. You know, even conservatives believe in competition, right? And people want to see people win, right? So this doesn't have to be the pro-Black shit. This is regardless who you date or whatever. But my point is, it's this idea that you can create a community that fucks Black men over at the expense of Black women doing their shit. And we have as SWP said, I point to you the nearest Black community as the result of what that bullshit does. And you can look at that when it comes to democratic policies locally or whatever. You can look at that in a variety of different paradigms. But the issue is, if you are a Black man and you have this mindset that I'm going, because Shaq did this bullshit, I'm going to let the men go out there and be fucked. You know, because in my mind, I want them to be stronger men. Because other races, white men don't do that. Not like that.
Wait, Ed, didn't Shaq say something about his own sons versus daughters in that same regard? That's what you're talking about.
He said his daughters will never, ever, ever have to want for anything, which, by the way, undermines the men that they're going to marry.
Are you from California?
Go out of his way to say that, but then his sons, it's not their money, it's his money. Even though Shaq will come out of his mouth talking about some generational wealth. A white man, now look at what Trump said he got his first $1 million from his dad. You see what I'm saying? This is the bullshit. Now, this is the bullshit. Shaq went as far to
his empire.
Yeah, go ahead.
He's going to give his empire to his daughters, and then tell his sons, you got to go out and build your own. Like that is the most retarded stuff ever.
And they are a lot, and nobody would say Shaq is not a masculine dude. There is a lot of now look at who Black people gravitate towards more, including Black men. Shaq more than Kobe. It's a lot of Black men that don't like Kobe because they don't identify with Kobe. Now, Kobe did a lot for women too, because he had nothing but daughters. But that's not how Kobe thought. That's not how Kobe thought at all. Kobe did a lot of stuff that he didn't get credit for because he was like one of them niggas that he believes that he's too, he believed that, you know, he was above that, which I respect. Kobe, but that's not how Kobe thought. So it's not like it's an either or thing. But if you, like, these guys don't, this is why I call them beta male chauvinists, because they don't believe, nigga, you don't protect Black women in the long run, fucking the men up. These women are talking about protection, not because it took what they're going through now, the bullshit they're bitching about is something that took time to get to. Like it took time to take the fucking trades out of the public schools and put them in community schools, basically making you pay for what used to be free. It took time to do all of that shit. So now you got these males, as conservatives said, that the only thing they're good for is giving you dick. And this is why I don't like game like that, because game is pretty much emotionally laboring for women. It is pretty much the practice of putting a woman. Huh?
That's all it is, really. If you break it down for its basic parts, it's just emotional labor.
Yeah, so you're not creating an outcome for this is why white non-black men don't need it when it comes to black men, because black women want something else from them, which is that feminine validation from somebody that's not black, because they have issue with their own blackness for the most part, which is why they could be with a diamond. It's not like these bitches are getting with a John B ass nigga, a white boy, when they get with a white boy. This is why a Serena Williams can get with the type Alexis Ohanian and still act like that's completely valid, where you would never see her with a black version of that. Even if the dude made more money than she made, you would not see that, because it wouldn't last. So the point is, dudes like this, they are just as much a part of the gynocracy. They are just as they uplift it. And these are often the people that women elect as representatives. Just like how in the Democratic Party, before women really started taking over, it was still more men in these positions, but they generally spoke mainly to female issues. It's just like the black church, how the black church is ran by women, even though the body is still headed by mostly men and bishops in certain positions. A matriarch generally elects male representatives to deal with the other men.
I think the church is a perfect example of like
the original matriarchy. Go ahead.
No, not just the original matriarchy. It's a perfect example of end stage matriarchy, right? Look at the church. And let's say, look at it. Let's try to compare the church of like the 40s and the 50s, the church that created the civil rights movement, right? That's really where the civil rights movement came from. It started with the church. And look at the type of people, the men and the women and the children, because a lot of those people were young at the time. They were like 18 and 20 years old at the time. Look at the quality of people who come out of the church then versus now. And I mean, the whole LGBT phenomena is just one crazy aspect of it. But even setting that aside, look at the dynamics of the church. Like you just said, a church that is catered towards actually male leadership and respecting male leadership is a church that can be a powerful tool on the grand stage.
The lie is that when you hear women complain about the black church, they are complaining about women coming down hard. When that pastor came down on women for single motherhood and stuff like that, that pastor had the backing of the women. And so the women were feeling the weight of the shame from other women, and women do not have a cure for that. They don't have a vaccine for that. This is how Asians, this is generally the first line of defense. It's generally not the men that come down on like the daughters. The men come down on shit when they about to rewrite shit. What usually happens is the women keep the women in line through shame. Like if you talk to Asians, like Koreans and stuff, they don't really worry as much about their dads. They worry about this unending shame that comes from their the coven that is their fucking aunts and their mother. Because it's endless, it's ruthless.
This is the thing about the gynocracy, though, right? It's a natural part of human nature. Like women always operate in this way. However, what you're describing right there is women who are operating under their little gynocracy is encapsulated under male leadership, as opposed to our gynocracy encapsulates male leadership. The Black American gynocracy puts male leadership in a bubble, whereas that Asian environment, it's the men who put their little gynocracy in a bubble.
That's not. I don't want to get into it. I know what's called is up here, but the thing is, what that is women doing what's in their own best interest. That's what
they always do.
And
but they always do that.
No, but the difference is most communities are not client races under like the thing is, as Black people, we don't control our own destiny as a group. This is why we didn't go through this stuff as much during like when we owned our own shit, like during the Jim Crow stuff, because we had to depend on each other. Now, I'm not necessarily against integration. Let me be very clear about that. But the thing is, other groups don't deal with this shit like we deal with, because other groups don't have another group that they can go to from their phone call 911 to regulate motherfuckers. Like a lot of dudes can tell you stories of their parents or mothers regulating a dude by calling the cops or shit like that. Other groups don't have that. Even other black groups, Jamaicans or whatever, they have to deal with the men they got to deal with. And at the end of the day, that's going to be a different conversation than that's going to be if you're calling somebody else that's historically been there to try to regulate you. We can talk about if that's happening as much now, but we know at some point that was happening. And this is where a lot of this culture comes from. And then we're not even talking about the welfare system that and the Monahan report and shit like that. That pretty much
Ed, I don't think it's integration. I think it's probably more feminism and you know, socialism too, which is feminism for women.
But the thing is, though, everybody got to take the feminism. Black women clearly took to it more than any other group.
Yeah. All right, let's pass the mic to Patriarchy Strikes Back. Go ahead. You got the floor. You got the mic. What's up? What's on
All right, man. I got to bounce, but appreciate y'all.
All right, yeah. Peace, Ed.
All right, later, Ed.
That was a lot. I didn't. I sucks. He's
You wanted to respond to Ed. He wanted to fight with Ed.
I did not want to fight at all. He just said a lot. Ed, are you from California?
I was born there, but I was raised in Chicago.
Okay, so let me just let you know, right, that the gang wars are over. The idea of all Black people being in the same group, and even you looking at it like that, in terms of a quote unquote community, which doesn't really exist. I think that you're very idealistic in your views on us and them and we's and all of the other words that people use. I don't think that what you're saying people will abide by, because you as a person are an individual. And to be honest with you, even a lot of the things that you so want, right? I would say that you're outnumbered even amongst Black people who don't want the same things that you want.
Well, I mean, I don't like. It seems like you're projecting a lot of stuff on.
I'm listening to what you said. I'm not projecting anything. These are the things that you just said in the last 5 minutes.
What did I just say specifically?
And us, and if you're not for the Black man, then you're not for the Black community. And if Black women don't support Black,
well, yeah. Well, hold on.
It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
The idea, hold on, you are the idea that a lot of these pro-Blackism is something that is used as a mechanism to get Black men to accept shit that's not in their best interest as a group.
That's correct.
If you're really pro-Black, what is in Black men's best interest is what's in the group's best interest. And Black women, this is what I often ask Black women, if they're going to play that game, because I'll play with them. That's kind of the spirit of what I was talking about here, is what have Black, in all these conversations that you have ever heard, that you have been here, I want you to think about all of that, all of you all. What has Black women ever been asked? When has there ever been a conversation amongst the Black men or Black women that Black women have ever been asked to sacrifice anything?
Nope. Everything they do is allegedly for the group.
But they use
everything they do, they say it's for the group.
But they use these antiquated ideas in words that you're using, like pro-Black and Black community. These are all fake grifting words, and you're literally playing within the same framework that they use. Now, are you
okay? Yeah, but you don't deal with that by what you're doing is just slamming the door in it.
Well, the door's already been slammed, because based upon what you said, majority of your community doesn't even agree with you, because they're not even a community to begin with.
But can somebody else jump in?
No, okay, I guess what I'm hearing
like
here,
my motto, first of all, yeah, anybody that knows me, clearly you don't know me and you don't know what my channel and shit is about. My motto is to tell Black women to just date out, date white. Well, I tell niggas that don't even engage with them in this bullshit, but they do it anyway. So if you do, these are the things that you do. So this is not me trying to impose anything on anyone. I'm a type of person where all things are on the table, do what's in your best interest, which is passport bros, SYSB, and whatever. Because I am what I call a libertarian when it comes to these dynamics. I believe that if people do what's in their best interest, the best outcome is going to come out of it. If the problem with black men is black men, hold on, and this is true, black men tend to have this ideology of seeding what's in their best interest for this idealistic betterment of the community. And when I engage that, what you heard is me engaging that. Now, what you're on is this, I'm so far beyond that, I don't even want to fucking engage in that conversation. That's fine. But that doesn't stop these people from lying on black men, for saying that black men are going overseas to fuck kids. That doesn't stop them from lying and getting black men literally destroyed, putting your head in your ass and acting like it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I don't
That's the
disagree with
difference.
anything
And you can
just said.
do that, but don't try to come at me like,
not
oh, well,
coming
you're
at you.
engaging in semi-grifting. That's what
No,
you're
I'm not.
perceiving.
No, hold on a second. I didn't say that you were engaging in semi-grifting. I'm saying that you're using grifting terms. Okay.
Oh my God! Like, where are all these niggas talking about? Like,
hold on a
yes,
second.
Yeah, patriarchy. I want to hear patriarchy explain. What
I'm
is
not
the
even
issue?
able to finish. The thing is, when I hear terms like community and us and them and we and all that kind of stuff, these aren't. This isn't real.
But
Like I don't
patriarchy,
even
do you
disagree with
understand? Hold on,
everything.
wait,
Hold on a second. I don't even disagree with everything he said about how he's saying that people need to operate within their own individual self-interest. I would agree with that, right? I'm not disagreeing with him. But even you saying, well, black women do this for the black community and all that, like I'm saying that a lot of that stuff doesn't exist.
Okay, this is where I'm at.
There is no black community. It just doesn't exist.
Ed, hold on, I got you. Ed used those terms while calling out the bullshit of the people who use those terms. I think you agreed with the bullshit that he called out. So that's why I don't understand the point of contention.
The only thing is, why are people, I think, in operating in a framework of a black community first is just ridiculous.
I know, that's why Ed said what's best for black men first would ultimately help this community that they allegedly want to save.
But it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
We understand that. Look, I do. Shout out to Hood Conservative who says racism is a figment. I get that, but dude, you don't. As a marketer and as somebody that deals in communication, if you're actually engaging in something, telling somebody that like all they perceive when they say that is they shut down. And if it's somebody that you're trying to bring on your side, they just shut down when you approach it that way. Oh, well, it just doesn't exist. Especially because, dude, I've said it before. Yeah, I see why you're from California, but you're damn right it don't exist in California. But I live in North Carolina. Bernard is in fucking Detroit. Or Michigan.
Not Detroit, but
Michigan. Or Michigan. Everywhere is not as fucking. Everywhere is not as fucked as California is. So everybody doesn't have that necessarily perspective to the same intensity. So what happens, and another reason, don't take this the wrong way, but I had a nigga telling me I'm talking uneducated mouth yesterday, and this nigga, you would have loved this nigga.
I didn't say that.
You would have been on here yesterday.
I didn't say that.
You call a beanbag nigga. Because this is where you needed to be talking about. You would have told that motherfucker that shit. You should have heard the bullshit he was talking. If you tell him. But anyway.
Well,
But anyway, my point is,
I think you're kind of picking the wrong fight.
Breaking his ass down too. But the thing is, if you want to have this thing about it, first of all, communities, people commune around each other. You saying that okay, so you're telling me, I got a question. So you saying there's no such thing as a Jewish community, a Hispanic community, an Asian community, or are you just saying there's no such thing as a black community?
I'm saying that in terms of communities, I'm saying that people have their own choice whether they want to operate in them or not. I would say that the biggest communities that are stratified and don't have a collective community in the United States is white community and black community. Where's the white community? I'm saying that right now, not all white people agree on everything. And what's funny,
I don't know if it has to be an agreement on everything in order for it to be a community.
Yeah, white people agree on a lot of baseline things.
No, such as?
Half of them are
such
Democrats,
as
half of them are Republicans. So we know
Such
they
as?
don't agree on everything.
Yeah, white people, the deadliest wars we've had on the face of the earth in the last 200 years with people killing one another have been white people killing other white people.
I think you're kind of speaking past the point.
Wait, time out. Yeah, I do want to go throw it to Hood Service. Hood Service did jump in with a good question. A good statement where I think you said something along the lines is that he's barking up the.
You're fighting the wrong fight because you're making a linguistic criticism because that's really what we're all probably. I think Bernard and Ed and I agree on is we're using a linguistic trick perhaps to speak to the audience that we understand. This is how the audience understands the language. So we use the language they're familiar with to highlight perhaps the inconsistencies of the language. You'll learn that on the way, I guess. But two, because it is more readily acceptable as opposed to what you just said is like, no, none of that's real. Like, even though I understand you completely and I'm not going to fight you on that, none of it being real thing. It's like Ed said, it doesn't sell in the audience that we're trying to speak to. So you have to just acknowledge that thing. That's how I look at it. You have to acknowledge that reality and speak to the audience as they want to be spoken to and say what you have to say at the same time.
Yeah, I look at it as Ed is not one of the save the community niggas. Ed is more so if y'all want to save this community that y'all talk about and y'all were serious about it, y'all would care more about what's the best interest of the men, and then it trickled down to the women and the children.
Yeah.
If your name is if your name is patriarchy strikes back,
yeah,
you agree with that statement. So that's why I don't understand.
But
that is wild too. That is wild,
people,
PSB.
Hold on a second. But most black people agree with the patriarchy system in America?
No, they don't.
That's the reason. That's the reason Ed. That's the reason Ed made that point that you agreed with, but came up to argue against.
And by the way, one of the original Manosphere people in SWP. This is why I like to send a lot of blue pill motherfuckers, because I'll just drag you into the deep end of the fucking pool. Like goddamn Jeepers Creepers. This is why I say, okay, you need it slow. Let me give it to somebody that actually believes or wants it to be saved, but is still going to tell the truth about what actually needs to be done. This is why SWP, who does agree with Passport Bros, who does agree with SBISBM, even though he wants a black community to be competitive, he says it straight up. He's been saying it, how, black women, they want men in the position, but they don't want the authority that comes with the position. So what they do is they get with these pookies and complain about them, but there's a reason. Like, the point is, there's a reason why they're doing what they're doing. It's just magically happening. So certain people that I reference or I refer people to, they can hear it in a better way of people that they could tell kind of wants it to work, but they're going to tell the truth about why it's not working, and then they tend to be a little bit more effective at communicating it. But the issue you have with what I said is, when I said what I said about the community, what I was first talking about the brotherhood of black men, number one. Meaning, if you don't believe that what's in the best interest of black men is the best interest of black people, if you're on I'm gonna promote the women and help the women, and then think I'm helping the community. This is this is the argument they always make. Whether you believe it's real or not, this is the argument they make. It's just like talking to somebody about the Bible. It doesn't matter if you're an atheist, they believe in that shit. So you go, but most Christians don't read the fucking Bible. So if you really want to smack them with it, you go in a book and show them you don't know what the fuck is going on in their own fucking book. This is what I would. So my point is, they I'm gonna say this, I'm just going to the patriarch thing. If you don't believe, in my opinion, if you don't believe in if you don't believe that there should be a black patriarchy, then you don't believe there should be a competitive community, which is one of the reasons why I even use the term gynocracy, because that is the social contract that black people operate on for the most part. The collective of black people operate on that fucking bullshit. They never talk about it though. Nobody never speaks about it, even though black women and black men. This is why it's very rare up until recently you see black women really critique other black women, because they get on code about shit like that. And not talking about it or pretending it doesn't exist doesn't stop people from taking very real action on these things.
Ed, real quick, man.
The issue with what you said, I get where patriarchy is coming from. Here's the problem. If you are pro-black man and you're telling a black man that, community is what's in his best interest, and if you're not pro-community, if you're pro-black man, you're pro for the bettering of this community. Unfortunately, we've seen from the last 60 years that, no, this patriarchy is right. There is no community. So promoting, hold on, Ed, chill, bro, chill. Listen for a second. You got to relax and listen. If you are promoting this community to black men, you are ultimately against black men.
I gotta cut you off because that's not what Ed was doing.
No, that's exactly what you said.
My issue with y'all is, I swear to God, y'all got this tunnel vision. Goddamn, y'all hear what y'all want to hear. Everybody that knows me know on my fucking channel the way I've always been: wall of silence, drain the slop, make a run on the bank. I've intercultural dating. I've literally brought fucking terms to the space, giving black men a fucking encyclopedia of options and the whys they should do. Hold on. On my channel, I talk about how black men are manipulated with black male guilt.
Rambling. We understand what you're saying.
No,
bro, that's exactly what he said, Bernard. I'm just repeating what he said.
I understood what you said.
Bible reference. Hold on, wait, time out. Everybody chill. I just had to mute everybody. Everybody chill. This is the shit that happen in this space all the time, where people are hell bent on pretending like somebody is taking a position that they're not taking, just so they can typecast somebody as that and argue against. And like y'all know that Ed is not one of those dashiki wearing save the community niggas. He was calling out the bullshit of the people who speak like that and how what they're doing is not working because they neglect or ignore what's best for black men.
Okay,
that's clearly a statement that y'all have to agree with.
Hold on a second. I agree with what you're, Bernard. When he gave the Bible example of, I'm using, if somebody was a Christian and used the Bible against it, right? I may not be a Christian, but I'm using their framework against them. I understood it 15 minutes ago. But when you drop something and you keep rambling, and that's why I have to come up and ask for clarification. Like, that's what I'm saying. I get where he's going now. Even with Hood Conservative saying, well, we're using the same linguistic argument that the audience is making. It's hard for me to understand. When Hood Conservative said that's the framework that the audience. Okay, I'm telling you that I can understand it, but when you keep rambling these ideas and rambling, it's hard for me to get.
Hold on, real quick, Ed. Hold on, patriarchy. I think
about a lot of different things.
I think me, you, and Ed landed the plane, and after the plane was landed and understanding was had, Trey came up and basically just tried to put a dashiki back on Ed.
No, Ed is not wearing a dashiki. I get what he's saying.
I know Ed's not wearing a
land the plane and then crash it. Only black people will land the plane and then crash it, bro. That's amazing.
This ass bullshit. No, let me tell you why.
Gotta relax, Ed.
I fucking keep saying the same thing in different fucking ways. Because when I hear motherfuckers that are somehow either not fucking comprehending what the fuck I'm saying, I'm literally coming at you like a goddamn spectrum in multiple different ways of a fucking thing. The issue with you is you one of these fucking niggas. It's like you gotta have it 100% your fucking way, or everything is just not legitimate.
No, I was asking.
You and Trey have that in common.
I'm asking.
What are you talking about, Ed?
Sir? Is this how you operate when somebody asks you to clarify your ideas and you want to complain about black women? You want to complain about black women being like you I'm asking for clarification on your ideas.
This is where the dissing comes from.
No, I'm not dissing you. I'm asking for
that somebody else
clarification,
did the same bullshit yesterday.
Listen, Ed, I get your point. I get what you're doing. You don't believe in the community. You don't do that. But since they operate by that framework, you're merely just reflecting it back on them. I got it. It just seemed the ideas didn't seem as succinct when you're going to talk about what the black women did this in the Monahan report. It's like, I get what you're saying now. I'm operating from the framework about black women saying what they want. I'm using their argument against them when they say that they're doing what is better for the community, but the community is not getting better based upon their standards. I got it. All the other things you were saying, that's what made it confusing to me.
Well, that's the you problem. Everybody else understood.
Ed, bro, you gotta chill, man. You know I'm the homie, Ed.
Game Changer. I'm gonna go to Game Changer. Go ahead, GC. You got it.
No, actually, I had something, but it's on a completely different aspect of the show. So I let them rock so they can get closure on this, and then we can go to where I was going.
All right.
Can I respond to Ed, please?
Go
now,
ahead.
Ed, I'm not against you, Ed. I know where you come from, bro. However, I've been sitting here in the chat watching, and you got a lot of guys following behind you, Ed, going community. Hell yeah, community. We got to bring it back. We got to do this.
That is not Ed's audience.
Bernard, I'm in your chat. I'm in your chat watching. You even got guys super chatting you, yelling about this whole community. And and David said it, and Hood said it straight up. You're speaking the language of the chat. That's what Hood said.
Well, Hood. I think Hood was speaking more so just the general, just black people in general. And
yeah,
even
that's what I'm saying, Bernard.
If you're speaking the language of them when they're saying that we gotta save, help, or build the community, blah 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 blah, and then you use the word community in your explanation as to why what they're doing is antithetical to a thriving community, I don't think you get to call out Ed for being the dude walking around, with the dashiki on, trying to save the community and using bad methods that won't work when he's calling it out. That's where it got goofy to me.
Based on their standards. All I was asking for was clarification.
How he call it out based on their standards, and he's saying their standards are wrong.
Exactly. So what he said he was using their standards against them, right? He's saying like this whole Bible argument. I got it when he said the Bible argument. When he said as an atheist will use the Bible because that's the framework that people believe in, and he will use that against them to find out that they don't even know anything about their Bible. I got it. I'm just saying my whole thing for clarification was I was just hearing a lot of different things go a lot of different areas. That's it.
Now, if we can have
hold on, wait, real quick. I got super chats where people are basically on the same wavelength as Ed. You said super chats of people talking like this is Dr. Umar's channel or some shit. But no, this guy is saying we don't speak in terms of us and our. How in the hell do we? Okay, well, hold on. You might be right. How the hell do we change it or change the thoughts of individualism by saying we can't speak community? Okay, so there it is right there. There's
Bernard,
nigga. Got it.
Man, I told you, man, I'm way more pro-black than y'all could ever imagine. But the problem is that you're selling pipe dreams.
I think.
Hold on, wait, Bernard.
Hold on, real quick.
That's an insult, Bernard.
I think
Bernard, that's an insult.
Okay, well, I'm going to insult.
Come on, Bernard. I wouldn't do that to you, Bernard. But Bernard, you got to give me a chance to speak, Bernard. Come on, bro.
I'm going to pass it back to you.
All right, go ahead.
I think, and I'm going to insult you a little bit, and we still going to be friends afterwards. I think you and Patriarchy Strikes Back are pro-derail and find a wedge issue or a slight small point of contention when you probably agree with 90 to 95% of what everybody said, and let's make a mountain out of a molehill and throw a straw man on top of it.
He was making the mountain. Like the thing is, this can be explained in very small terms. It doesn't have to ramble everywhere. That I was asking for clarity.
Yeah.
So
patriarchy. You keep saying that shit.
No. Both you guys. Can I get a full sentence out? I think we revealed something here, and this is a whole different subject, perhaps, but I think this is critical that we just revealed it in this raw way. Black men, however you define it, I know it's a loose term, and I struggle with it too. I'm not picking at patriarchy right now, but the men want community in some form. Community is what men really are trying to do here. And it may not be the black community as we're fighting over now, but I think the problem that we can't get past is men want community. And they will find it amongst themselves in little pockets if they have to, but it's still men want community.
All right. Trey, I'll let you go ahead and finish your point uninterrupted. Go ahead, you got it.
Yeah, and Ed, man, I'm about 50-50 with you, Ed. I don't, I'm with patriarchy as far as, the whole R and we and all that stuff and going back in time. I'm more of a futuristic type guy. Like, look at what's going on now and then go from there. So, yeah, we agree on that as far as, like, the direction, men need to go. However, all I'm making it a point right now is that if there's any slight disagreement with Ed's methods, everybody drops the hurricane symbol. All of a sudden, shots fired at me and patriarchy.
That's
because
bullshit.
we disagree with them.
You know I disagree with you in some parts.
That's
Ed.
but
We've been through this.
the biggest difference between me, you, and Patriarch. This is the biggest difference between me and you two. The difference is I am a lot more like. I'll give you an example. Bernard does not believe in the gynocracy as I speak on it, but I can allow Bernard to have that room. Hold on. Bernard has
No,
his
you made an incorrect statement. I don't think that white supremacy is the big issue that you think it is. Other than that, we agree 100%.
Well, okay, but my difference is, okay, let's go there. The difference is I can accept Bernard's differences of that. You all have this shit where you all gotta have shit 100% your way, and if you don't, it's all invalid. And by the way, and I'm gonna go through the replay. You didn't ask for clarification.
Ed, you're missing it.
You trying to say that shit now, and then trying to make it seem like all this. Hold on.
I just said I'm 50-50,
I'm not talking about you, Trey. All of this disavowing of what the fuck did I said, and all this bullshit about me rambling and all this other shit is slick diss, which by the way is something that sisters do too on the low. Since you want to try to talk about, oh, well, you're rambling and you're talking like a sister and all of that. That's exactly what the fuck they do too. So anyway, well, I'll do a replay on this.
All right.
The video up.
I'm sure.
But don't try to act like, oh, well, you're just the one that can't deal with it because somebody disagrees with you.
It's not.
You're acting like that right now.
Hold on, real quick, Ed.
You're acting the same way right now.
Hold on, real quick, Ed. It's not that they have to have it their way or somehow invalid. It's not that. The goal and point from my perspective, as I saw it, was to just invalidate you. That's what I got from this. They wanted to invalidate you.
Exactly, which is why I responded the way I did.
That's only the talking points, Ed. Not you. Nothing personal against you, Ed. I was just responding to what you said, brother.
The bottom of that. Now that we got to the bottom of that.
Let me get the mic for a second.
That's a distinction without a difference.
Real quick, Ed, let me get the mic.
What up?
All right, everybody mute up. Go ahead, GC. Then I'm gonna pass it to the new people on the panel. Go ahead, GC.
Okay, Trey. It's definitely personal. Don't say it's not personal when you're talking about how he talks, not what he's talking about.
I didn't say that. That was patriarchy.
Okay, it was patriarchy.
I didn't say that it was personal because of you. I'm saying that it was personal. Like the initial attacks on Ed was personal. It wasn't against his points because the points weren't clearly understood. So there is a there, like what Bernard was saying. Okay. Now, as far as what I was wanting to talk about before, the importance of community. For men, community is safety. It is protection. It is, it is community is what stops men from getting jumped and stuff like that from other people who have a bunch of cousins because they come from an intact family. Community is that for men. So there definitely is a there that men wanted. And I think that modern women, particularly modern Black women, unfortunately for us, is that they're leveraging that desire for community against us. They're like, okay, well, you want community. We want a 6-figure man for every fat bitch in it. That's what we want. So, I mean, it's basically, it's a leverage and they're doing it with everything. So, it is what it is.
All right. Christian Hutchinson in the building says, my dad and I don't know what FIO means, were the people who set me up.
Father-in-law.
Oh, my dad. Oh, yeah, got you. Yeah, my dad and father-in-law were the people who set me up. My mom and mother-in-law. I learned something new. My mom and mother-in-law didn't lift a finger, but who benefited from older men helping me. Yeah, that goes back to when we was talking about the previous conversation. But yeah, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate that. And Dr. Thunder, I didn't miss your super chat. I saw you type that in the chat room. I don't miss super chats. I got somebody in the back that stars every super chat to make sure I don't miss them. But Dr. Thunder in the building says, totally disingenuous to call Ed a rambler or tell him to calm down as if that is a valid refutation. Ed ate you up. No, I think it's true. Ed does ramble. Calling him a rambler wasn't the problem with what
I
was
did not
said.
understand what he was saying.
It was a whole nother issue. But anyway, moving it along, we got someone by the name of what did it say down there? Ladyface on the panel. So go ahead, you got the floor, you got the mic. What's on your mind?
Hi guys, and hi Mr. Riley. Thank you guys for having me. I'm just addressing the subject of, are women actually learning? or are they faking it?
Mm-hmm.
I think men are concerned with that primarily because what y'all said, y'all want community. That's the goal. That's what we all want. Technically speaking, that's what men want in general. But women are incentivized to do otherwise. So with that knowledge, I think that men should not feel responsible for teaching women. I think women are going to have to eventually take accountability on a collective level and change their behavior and maybe adopt a lifestyle of modesty in order to refute everything that's going on, because without that, it's going to stay the same. It's going to get worse, and men are going to continue to try to leave this format, the stuff that we've already set up in place, to try to go find places where they can be successful in. So I doubt that it's going to be like a learning experience where men are going to give all these examples and women are just going to wake up one day and I get it. They're not going to do that. The only thing that they could do is actually separate themselves from that behavior, and without that, they're not gonna have both. That's basically what I'm trying to say.
Let me ask you, what are you said women are incentivized to not have communities. What incentives do they have? I'm curious.
Okay, certainly I can bring up generalizations. So I guess 80s, 90s time frame, it was promoted, for a woman to kick the man out the house and they could be on these benefits, this welfare system and stuff like that. They didn't have the foresight that, hey, if I did this for 10 years, 20 years, this is going to put my entire generation in a deficit. They didn't think about that. They were just thinking about what they were getting right then and right now. They didn't, women don't have that capability of projecting decision making. They only make decisions based off what they're going to get immediately or in the near future. So
Hey,
that's
ma'am,
what
question.
I mean by their incentivized.
Would you be okay with all those benefits and fail-safes being removed?
Me personally, or are you speaking about women as a whole?
Women as a
Because
whole,
if you
just
ask me, women as a whole, they would have an issue with that. Because if
no. I'm sorry, ma'am. I phrased it wrong. Instead of this whole child support, the welfare system, food stamps, in order to bring women back to that traditional role, would you be okay with governments just say, you know what, fend for yourselves, let your man take care of you?
Okay, so me or women as a whole? Because
No,
women
what's
as a
your
whole
belief?
in the position. Yeah, in the position that women are right
I
now,
think
if
he's.
the
I think
government
he's. I think
ended
he's
their
asking
relationship,
you. Hold on, wait. Time out. I think he's asking you your
me,
perspective. What do you think should happen? Are you good with that being the case? If the government essentially, basically said all of these incentives or programs or whatever is all going to be gone. We're going to wipe it all
yes,
away. We're going to wipe it all away,
yes,
and y'all got to work it out with y'all men. Are you good?
yes,
Are you good with that from a governmental standpoint? Like you'll vote on it?
me, yes, because I
Okay.
benefit from having a male provision. Now, other women may not agree with that because they believe in being independent and being a bad bitch. So, me personally, yes, I would benefit just fine. It would be regular because I've been doing it all my life. So if they cut me off, which is not a cutoff because I never involved myself in that, I will be doing the same thing I'm doing already. Now, other women that are already acclimated to that system, they may have an issue with that because they have to change everything. Their discipline, money, everything has to change. Their behavior, everything has to change.
Can I ask you one quick question? I know this sounds like it's coming out of left field, but I just want to know: do you think women should vote? Do you think women should be voting?
Can I add context to the question?
No,
Or
it's a
do I
yes or
have to
no.
say yes or no?
It's a yes or no. I'd prefer a yes or no
Oh,
answer.
no,
Then
no,
explain your context. Thank you.
no, no.
You don't
Thank
think
you.
women should vote?
Hallelujah.
Go ahead and explain that.
Hallelujah.
No,
What?
I'm a militant. I'm gonna give a small background of myself. I'm a militant-minded person, so I believe in structure and order. And in order to have any type of outcome, you gotta have a ranking system. So if I'm gonna conduct a relationship with a man, I need to get in my rank, and I have to operate in that level, on that level. There's no distinction. in between what's his responsibility and what's mine. I already have a set, mode, purpose that I'm already made for. I was born for this shit. So all this other stuff, when you're born, they reprogram you. Society reprograms you. That's something different. Now, the stuff that I was born to do, that's things that I supposed to, give my life into, give my purpose for. That's womanhood. Right. That's just normal womanhood stuff.
All right.
The whole reason I asked that.
Oh, go ahead.
I just want to say the whole reason I asked that question is because it just occurred to me one time. I was thinking about this, like as far as black men leading the community, if you as women, and I just wanted to ask you to see how it played out. But as women, it occurs to me, if you really think the men should be leading, then why do you need to vote? What do you even need that for? But that was my whole point. So thank you for answering.
All right, cool. Ricky Manor in the building. Welcome back to the show.
What's good? Thanks for having me up, Bernard.
Yeah, no doubt. Anytime. You got the floor. You got the mic.
I want to speak to the sister here, because I can't speak on behalf of a melanated woman. So what I want to know is,
what was you going? Hold on, wait. What was you gonna say before she came up? I ain't gonna make it all about her now.
No.
They're not.
Oh, okay.
The subject is about women.
Hold on. Go ahead, Ricky. You got it. Whatever you want to do, Ricky.
Okay. Thanks for having me up. With the government benefits, right? That started in the 1960s, and you said that women were incentivized to kick the man out of the household. So, in order to eradicate the man out of the household, that's a heavy move within itself, right? So, I think the problem, or should I say, the solution is figuring out how did this appeal to these women at the time, right? Would you agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
So, what was it that you think women benefited from by eradicating the man out of the household? We're talking about the father of the kids.
And I have to go a little bit deeper than just, they just got rid of the men out the household. We got to go back into slavery and all the conditioning that we have from that, lead it up until those systems took in place, and became, things that we evolved ourselves.
Let's go back to Kemet while we at it. Go all the way back to Egypt.
I have an answer for the brother after her.
I'm not speaking back to Kemet. I'm just talking like as if I sat up there and told someone, hey, if you get rid of your man, you can be just like them, even better. You could earn even more. You could be even more successful. I basically sat up here as a government and sold your woman a dream, and she ate it up, and continues to eat it up, and will continue to do so. And it's not more like it has little to do about just getting rid of the men. It's more of making them separate themselves from under their men, from under the protection of the family. And now we are vulnerable to the system, and they can utilize us how they want to. That's all I mean by that.
And so basically what I think would need to happen to get women to learn, for what they say, is that women are going to have to see what happens to their moms, their grandmas, their aunts, their uncles from benefiting from the system. And it won't happen all at once. I believe that sound-minded women will come out of situations and try to want better for themselves than where they came from. So it won't be what a man has to tell them. They won't learn that from the internet. They won't learn that from a Kevin Samuels or anybody else. I think they're going to learn from life experiences just like we all do.
That was literally my point that I was making when I was just saying that they're never like these, like what we're doing, these podcasting and stuff where we sit up here and we discuss women behavior. None of that is going to work. I think that it's never going to work. And that's the response of these, passport bros going overseas. They think they're going overseas because of beautiful women. No, they're going overseas because of that heightened probability of getting a real actual community that you can actually be a part of.
They speak about it from that perspective more than just the aesthetic of a pretty woman. They talk about it from the larger scope in the community and what's wrong with the black community and with black people in general, and how they just separate themselves from it from a cultural, social standpoint, as well as it is a hot feminine woman over there too. But
feel free to ask me, man.
Hold on. GC, you wanted to jump in, or I think you wanted to respond to something that Ricky Manor said.
To Ricky. Yeah, very good point. But I think that it's a little bit deeper, or actually, I think that it's a lot deeper as far than just welfare. I know that was her answer as far as what motivated them to, dissolve the community.
It's deeper.
Yeah, it's definitely deeper. And the reason for that, Ricky, is because theoretically and actually reasonably so, a woman can be married and be on welfare. She can manipulate the system in that way. In fact, the wife of a doctor right now can literally be on welfare if her income isn't substantial, or if they're not like officially married or something like that. So yeah, and it has happened in certain polygamous relationships that has happened. I right now can actually like take my home, Section 8 it to a woman on welfare, get the money, and then just live with her, and they not know the wiser. So you can have your cake and eat it too. However, collectively, Black women chose not to do that. They chose a situation that ended the family dynamic. And there's a number of theories that I have for why they did that, and it's not just welfare. I think that, and this is going to sound really, really bad on them, but really, I think that they prefer the stepdaddy situation over the natural born father situation, for reasons of they want to be the center of attention, literally. You see, when you have a natural father in the home, then the attention between him is the attention from him is split between her and the children. And the attention from the children is split between mother and father. However, if you have a stepdaddy situation, everybody has a stronger connection to the woman than they do to each other. The stepfather has a weakened connection between his unnatural born kids, and really his only connection to those kids is her. Were they to divorce, he would not be in those kids' lives ever. So,
if I could speak on that, GC.
Yeah, right quick. Let me just finish. So with that weakened connection, she is literally the center of everything in that household. That is the preferred position and I think that's the real incentive. And it's sad that a person would think that way, but it's pretty sick.
I mean, but it's before they even become a family unit, they're still doing that. They're still divested. So it can't just be the stepdaddy syndrome, but that could be one aspect of it.
What do you mean? Well, to choose that, to plan to do that is the mentality. I'm not saying it's just the stepdaddy syndrome. I'm saying that's a large part of it. A lot of women feel that that's a preferred family dynamic because that's, once again, a family dynamic that puts her in the center.
Well, I've been calling out this. Yeah, I've been calling out this stepdad pipeline for the longest time. Just watching, the ins and outs into the manosphere at large. And ma'am, I'm glad you brought up, the whole passport movement. I used to rock with that myself. I'm married to a foreign woman and quite happy. I saw my father and a whole lot of men of my generation growing up in a 99% Black community. Most were stepdads. And this was the late 70s, early 80s, and it just continued on. And as men came together on the internet, we saw that, okay, all right, cool. Women want to live out their lives in their 20s and expect to be bailed out. However, now brothers, the L7 square type brothers are waking up, and they're like, no, we out of here. These high blue earning blue collar brothers are out of here. And this is, we can't look in the past. I'm just saying this from my opinion. We can't look at the past as what happened to it, but the reset is going to take place where there's going to be nobody there for these women, unless they're looking at some dudes getting out of jail or something. And it just has to burn that way. And that will, if along with cutting off the benefits, bring traditionalism back, to, I'm saying Western women as by and large, especially, Black women.
Be careful, Trey. It sounds like you're trying to come up with a way to save the community. Be careful.
Well, here's what I believe. This is why, sometimes I feel it's hopeless for us as a community ever again. And I'm going to tell you why. Think about it like this. How long have we been off the plantation?
Not long enough.
Okay, so between
150 years.
About what?
150 years. Let's say that.
Okay, so out of 150 years, how long have we been integrated?
About
150 years for my family.
No.
Integrated. No, integrated. That's 1965. So whatever that's 1965. So whatever the math is.
Yeah. So
so about 50 years, give or take, right?
Yeah.
So now, when it comes to our psychology, we're the Flintstones. The dominant society is the Jetsons. They've been dealing with each other in Europe using psychology against their lower class for centuries. We're not going to catch up with them in 20, 30, 40 years from now. And everything that we see that's detrimental that happens into our community, it sets us further back. So they're the Jetsons, we're the Flintstones. We need to figure out how to time machine ourselves to catch up to what's going on. Because
It's going backwards, though, Ricky. It's going backwards. It's going
What's
backwards.
going backwards?
The degradation of the black community, using those words, is going backwards. Yes.
We was
conservative.
never degraded. We was just disadvantaged at one point. We were never bad people. We were never, you know.
A conservative, you can speak on it, bro. You covered this in the videos where there's these videos from the 60s, 50s, where the upper class black people in Los Angeles were up in arms because a whole lot of, excuse my language, man, but niggas was moving in from the South and other places to their already integrated neighborhoods. And they were worried about, their value. Go ahead, Dave, you got it.
No, I was speaking to that in a different way earlier on the panel when I was just talking about the civil rights era and how the church of that era produced a better quality of people in general. Like in terms of people quality, like I think the product is deteriorating over time.
But the church back then was for the people, and nowadays it's just for the money, because now what we have is a bunch of pulpit pimps that sell liberal policies to a group of people that are spiritually void. Christianity was not our religion, and it never will be. I mean, I don't mean to offend any Christians in here, but I mean, when you think about it, where our white counterparts know the truth behind it, we're still thinking that there was a Jesus Christ that walked the planet, to the point where we're arguing what color Jesus was. And I'm like, no, wait a minute here. This is their religion. This is what they taught you, to be submissive. And you're sitting up here believing in pie in the sky while we're being exploited through life. This is a white light religion, and we got to separate ourselves from that. But at least the church back then, it still taught that religion, but it was teaching things about how to build in the community as well, how to buck against the system. We used to meet in our churches to not just pray to the Lord, but to actually figure out what are we going to do, what's going to be
the problem with that, Ricky, like when you say about it was teaching how to buck against the system, they have the church and the black people in the church, they are convinced that the Democrats are actually what's helping them buck against the system. Like they think that they're bucking against it by being aligned with the Democrats and voting for a more liberal democratic policies. They think that's the buck against the system, but that's what's keeping them exactly where they at. But shout out to Kevin C in the building. He says the government welfare is not independence. I think he's referring to what Lady Faye said, even though it is listen, I've said this plenty of times. It don't matter if a chick got a good job making $100K, if she got 3 kids by 3 different men on welfare. They both claim strong, independent, don't need no man. And so that's unfortunately the thought process. The standard RLC says, I like how she asked if she could add context or if it was yes or no. Where's her husband? What's her ring size? Asking for a friend. Wow.
I'm sorry, but that's just how I conduct myself. I've been doing it from a long time, and I wanted to, comment on what the gentleman said about stepdaddies. Like, I'm a stepdaddy raised child, not biased towards stepdaddies or anything like that. And I'm not gonna sit up here and raise a flag for stepdaddies either. And I wanted to explain how it's a very dangerous and vulnerable situation to put yourself in, because I watched my mom terrorize my stepdad.
I mean, look, you speaking, you preaching to the choir. We talk about that all the time.
Yeah,
over here.
so
yeah, you ain't.
When it comes to that, I know exactly what y'all talking about when it comes to stepdads and why it's so detrimental to like have your family. your children put together. You know what I mean?
You said
Especially
detrimental,
for me.
or you think you?
It's detrimental. Like it's really like I don't feel like, because women aren't really taking responsibility for their actions when it comes to the sex market. I don't feel like it's a man's responsibility to come in and take care of a child that's not his.
No, agree.
Now, with that being said, I benefited from it. Obviously, I came out fine. But
yeah, no, it can be a good thing if it works out, but overall I don't recommend it. Basically, if you're a dude and you're doing the right thing, get with somebody else who've also done the right thing. Start your own family up from within. Don't just hop on board with another family. Absolutely. Eric Bird in the building with the $2 super chat. Shout out to you. Appreciate it. Emancipated Negress, who I ain't seen here in a while. Shout out to you. She said, please ask the lady why exactly does she feel that women shouldn't vote. She already answered that one earlier. She said basically the overall order of things. She answered that one already, but thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate that. Freedman's Journal in the building says salute Bernard in chat. Shout out to Freedman's Journal. Do appreciate you. Shout out to Kevin C. He says, but the stepdad era has been over for decades. I won't say
can I respond to that?
It's slowly it's dying a slow death. But
can I respond there though?
Go ahead, Game Changer. You can respond to that one real quick.
Yeah, so real quick, the stepdaddy era is over the way the crack era is over. Even though, there aren't really any crackheads or many crack dealers and things like that, there are still movies and stuff made about it. And there are still people who aspire towards that lifestyle. There are still people, young brothers today who, wish that they were 80s, mid 80s, late, early 90s drug dealers because they aspire to that lifestyle. Same with the stepdaddy thing. There are still young ladies who still aspire towards the stepdaddy lifestyle. Now, this is going to affect their, even if they're successful in fulfilling it, that's not relevant. I mean, the fact that they desire that makes them ill-suitable wife and mothers.
Well, Game Changer, just a slight pushback on that is that if you go across the other side of the manosphere, like, you go to like a lot of Richard Cooper, entrepreneurs in cars. There's a huge epidemic amongst these younger, entrepreneurs in cars. There's a huge epidemic.
My mind heard Richard Spencer. My bad.
Oh no, there's a huge epidemic. A young white, military age males who are out here being stepdads. They don't know about traveling. All they're looking for is a good woman, and the 304s over there are just as bad.
Yes,
and
they are.
It's like it went from crack, just like it went from crack to meth. It just went from black stepdads, now it's white stepdads.
Well, no, I don't know the frequency in which men are actually choosing to become stepdads. I really don't, and I don't know if it's improved or is going the opposite direction. I really don't. What I'm saying is the mentality still exists.
Yeah. Do you know why I became a stepdad twice?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that. So the mentality. Yeah. So the mentality.
You said, hold on. Did you say? Did you know? Do you know why? What did you say, Ricky?
Do you know why I became a stepdad twice?
Yeah, I want to hear why. I want to hear why.
Positions. Well, when I was growing up, I was told I was ugly. I was told I'd never be anybody. I was told that, and this is what I was told by other black people. That I was told that I was slow. I was told that I was dumb. I was told that, I was just told that I was never good enough. These women came along, and these were 9s and 10s. You know what I'm saying? As far as body goes, I'm not talking about finances, or else they wouldn't have been with me in the first place. But their bodies were banging. So somebody laying in the bed with you at night, making you feel good downstairs, telling you that you're everything, that everybody else is wrong. Look at us. Let's take pictures together. You're up on social media. Back then it was MySpace, and we're taking pictures together, and everything's good to go. And the only thing I have to do is bond with this child. You see what I'm saying? Go out, work my ass off, and it makes me, they make you feel good about coming home with the groceries. They make you feel, this is only in the beginning stages. They make you feel good about coming home with the groceries. They make you feel good about playing with their kids. They make you feel good in the bedroom. And there's no more person that's more intimate with you than the person that's telling you these things.
Ricky, were you listening earlier when we spoke about the whole stepdaddy thing? Because we had a conversation about this earlier on the panel, but like you reminded me of something I wound up saying during that little conversation. But like basically, black women breed stepdaddies. It's a part of the programming.
So actually, I'm not against dating single mothers, and I do think that in your situation, If a woman is considerably more pretty than you are handsome, then it's definitely something to consider. I will say that since you did it twice, I would probably have a more extensive vetting process. Like
I did, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. So no,
yeah.
if you enjoyed a prolonged friends with benefits scenario with a 9+, and you're not as a man a 9+, and I'm not saying my words, I'm not giving my judgment, I'm giving your own and the perception of those around you. So if that's the scenario, then yeah, I don't see anything wrong with what you did.
Well,
that's where the
let me finish this though. When I got divorced the second time, I took 3 years to myself to figure out what was wrong with me, and I went and sought counseling. You see what I'm saying? And had to get myself together because I felt that the only thing I could do was less. You see what I'm saying? So I made sure that when I hit the dating market again, I felt 100% up here. I was making good money. I didn't need anybody else to validate me. The person that I had to tell myself that what everybody said about me was wrong. I had to look at myself in the mirror and like what I see. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Then once I felt 100% here, that's when I went back to the dating market, and that's when I started making the rules.
And that's one thing that's important.
Your takeaway from this, ladies, your takeaway from this is don't try to pull that stepdaddy crap unless you're 9 or 10.
I disagree, JC. Like, here's the deal, bro.
No, women, you listen good. You mediocre women. Don't try. You average at best. Notice how. Hey, would you have done that for average at best? She has a son. The silence is the answer.
I think what GC is getting at, there's a certain type of, there's a certain amount of benefit that could come with it to where it can make it worth it for the man to do it.
Exactly.
But if we're talking about, average at best chicks with bad attitudes who not even going to appreciate it, then it's really over.
You have
close the curtain on that shit.
You have to sell your vagina double than what you're doing, because it's now a wrecked car. So you got to clean it up better. So like average at best, she still hasn't found her stepdaddy. And there was a woman who, according to a poll that I did, is less attractive than average at best. And she actually found, and she has 2 kids. And she actually found
all right. We're gonna.
Oh, you're trolling, GC. Like 9 or 10 don't matter. If there's a bailout system, if there's a child support alimony system, hell to the no. Let them find chicks starved. Let them go hook up with a dude, the jail bay or something like that. I mean, now for a woman coming from a country like Colombia or somewhere where there's no bailout system, and she's a 9 or 10, cool. Don't bring her back here where she can become part of that system all day long.
I'm saying for the ones who do date here, that step.
I'd never be a stepdad again, and I preach against that shit now.
Yeah.
I will.
No, but what I'm saying is, you have to offer more. You have to offer more. You have to throw in pussy and car washes and cooking. In order to.
You're wild, JC.
Honestly, and she needs to swap the deck, just to make up for the fact that she's bringing kids into the situation.
I like where you're going with this. Honestly,
I'm with Ricky Matter in this. I did it, but I won't do it again.
And see, this is what really crushes you. If you're in a relationship with these women, you grow close to their kids. They feel like yours, like my stepdaughter. If anybody asks me how many kids I have, I say 4. One of them is my stepdaughter. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we still in touch. She's grown now. There's nothing in this world that she can ask me for that I'll tell her no to. You see what I'm saying?
Hold on. GC may have been kind of trolling a little bit. I don't know, but it's not the point. I think that idea holds power. The clip we started out playing, Bernard, when the woman was saying black men are undervalued and undermined, right? The undervalued thing is what we're going to speak to right now. This is a value plus what you're talking about, Ricky. Everything that you can provide as a stepdaddy, even after the fact, that's all a value add, right? So what I'm saying is, and I know it sounds crazy, sell stepdaddyhood, right? Don't sell it like to men as like you should just do it out of the kindness of your heart. No, I mean monetize the shit. All right, listen, because there is coming an army of just ever increasing baby mamas with kids and all that, and they're gonna need somebody. Got to do something about these boys, right? Isn't that we always hear that from the pro black types and all that? Somebody got to do something for these boys. Okay, 25.
What
No,
do you mean by
$40
sell it?
an
Hold on,
hour.
wait. I'm confused.
I mean,
You
$40
landed the
an
plane.
hour.
Are
Sell
you
it.
saying
Yes,
the
40
man?
bucks an hour.
You mean he's going to get paid that like a job?
I'm
Like,
selling stepdaddyhood. You got a kid? Don't nobody love you? All right, $40 an hour.
they
Let
ain't
me
got it.
let me
40 ball, bro.
let me break it down for you. So basically, when you get out of that situation, you know, like at first, before my stepdaughter grown to be an adult, you know, it was a period of 7 years I couldn't talk to her because she legally was not my child. You see what I'm saying? So there was no way that I could continue. And after all of those resources that were squandered, I sell against it because there's no way I can convince another man that it's a good thing to squander your resources. And that's what I felt like when I left that situation.
And that's the power. That is the power. See, when the woman who was up here before was saying, you know, that's what they actually get out of it. You know, the fact that they can end the connection, that power that, you know, they could sever the connection between not only you, but between the child too, is something that they get off on. It's the stepdaddy syndrome.
Man, I'd rather just sell side nigga services.
Right?
That's a yeah.
No, I mean, well, I
That's
agree.
another business model we also offer here.
All right, let me get to my super chat. We probably about to wrap this bad boy up pretty soon. Celine in the building says, I'm a Christian and have talked to Black women who are Christians that a lot of times use grace and forgiveness to not answer to BS. They also don't speak on single motherhood. Black Christian women. Thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate that. And Celine, who's you're white. You're not allowed to speak on Black women. That's not allowed over here. I'm just the Sneak 2008 says, shout out to the late great ARC. Absolutely 100%. Shout out to ARC. Rest in peace. He says, shout out to the late great ARC. The beta male revolution is happening right now, and Black women are trying to keep Black men on the plantation of providing unlimited attention and resources, voided of individual authority. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. And I believe those are actually true words that you put there. Gregory Scotland in the building says many Black women are going to come after Miss Ladyface for her position on women voting. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. And Inglewood Johnson, I'm just playing. Elwood Johnson says, salute to everyone. Panel and chat, great program and great panelists, great topic again. I appreciate everything. I appreciate you dropping 5 on it. I do appreciate you dropping 5 on it. Appreciate everybody in the building. GC, yeah, you wanted something else before we get up. We want to say something else before we get up out of here.
Yeah, I do. So Machine says, as a man with no kids, hell no. Listen, I understand that as a man with no kids as well, but I don't think that you're turning down Rihanna anytime soon.
Yeah.
I think that she would take it right now.
Yeah.
Her pussy hasn't even retightened from the last baby. So
she'd have to pay me, bro. I mean, come on, man. Rihanna looks garbage now. She ain't Rihanna. Yeah, I was gonna say that's money.
The fact that she's Rihanna, she's rich and famous. I'm saying that.
Well, reason we go, even hold on, wait. Even if we just take Rihanna off of it, because okay, there's a subjective nature of what he's saying is there's a certain type of hotness and good treatment that can make a man, no matter how much of a hard line he draw, it's a certain amount of hotness and good treatment that'll make a man not give a fuck.
No. You know what I learned after that 3 years when I was alone? You know what I really love more than women? Money. I love money.
I like freedom.
I
That's
like
the
money,
evolution.
the ability to make
That's
money, to
the
have the time to
evolution.
make the money. If I get lonely, you know what I'm saying? If I ever break up with my wife, I got plenty of money. I could buy love. You know, for the evening, I can rent some love for the evening. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Money. Because
and that's why I'll just say this. That's why I disagree with you, GC. I bet if you've been locked up because of a woman, and you done did real time because of a woman, you don't care how fine the chick is. That shit go out the window.
Yeah, that's why I threw in good treatment.
Well, yeah, I don't even think in those terms. No, I've never been locked up because of a woman.
Yeah,
and I'm crossing my fingers on that. Like I'm glad for that. So I can't even speak from that perspective. But I can say that a stepmother would have to go above and beyond. more so than many women can go. And that's why you have average at best. Like, you know, you have to go above and beyond to get a regular guy, or you have to, you know, go below and beneath to pick the guy that you can get. And a lot of these average women are going below and beneath. Like, you know, he could be like, you know, 6 or 5'7", living in an efficiency or something. Like when you're a stepmother,
we're gonna wrap
when you're a stepmother, I'm saying when you are a baby mama, you have to go below and beneath in order to attract any mate.
All right. And on that note,
And that's why it offends me when baby mamas try to come on to me. Because
you get offended. When baby mamas try to come on to you, you treat it the same way.
I get offended. Like, really?
Game Changer treat it like that when a fat chick try to get at him. He's like,
oh no, fat chicks are no-goes. Yeah, but yeah.
Oh man. But all right, look, thank you everybody in the building. Do appreciate each and every one of you, everybody who super chatted, supported the stream in any way, shape, or form, everybody who liked, shared, subscribed, or watched in indifference. I do appreciate all of you. And as it's scrolling down there at the bottom, once again, RIP to ARC. And also there, I think I might be missing some super chats.
Thanks for having me up, Bernard.
I mean, oh yeah, no doubt. Anytime. Robert J. Carmichael sent a $10 cash app, and Kevin C sent a $4 cash app. Says women have too many safeguards in society. That's back when we was talking about that before. And yeah, I agree with that statement. I made the same statement when me and Hood Conservative was talking. Yeah, the whole concept of the banking system too big to fail, the whole works. Yeah, all day. But all right, yeah. With that said, we are getting out of here. Peace, and we are gone.